This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by Tricks or Treats. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob, and this is the official Halloween special for 2023. I think technically my first Halloween special. I didn't really do a Halloween special last year. I did a couple of horror-themed episodes during October, in which I've mentioned it once. I've mentioned it a million times. I interviewed Tyler and Harley. We actually just had the one-year anniversary come by. Well, by the time this comes out, I guess a few weeks ago, which is very exciting. But no, we're talking horror, and look, when it comes to talking horror on this show, there's only one person I really want to talk to, an absolute goddamn expert. And he loves horror so much, he named his podcast after it. So please welcome back the wonderful man from Utah. It is Michael Seary. Welcome back, Michael.
You just know how to flatter me. Thank you. You're so nice.
Oh, well,
you're going to make me blush, James. Jeez.
You're an easy guy to be nice to. It's so nice to have you back. The last time you were on was the epic, like the episode 56 or whatever it was, where we spoke for almost 4 hours.
Oh, Lord. That was so fun. I mean, honestly, it's kind of a running joke at this point. Like, you can't put me and James together on a recording to record a podcast and not expect it to be like 4 to 5 hours long. By the time we're done chatting at the start, because normally you and I, we do our little catch up thing at the beginning before we even start recording. And that usually takes maybe 30 minutes to an hour. And then we actually get to the recording. Yeah, that's minimum, folks.
Well, and this is a unique one because like just to pull back the curtain a little bit, just before this one, you're like, look, I want to talk to you, but it's late for both of us. Maybe we should skip the preamble, just so people know. It's almost 10 p.m. here in Australia, where I'm recording from. And what time is it for you, Michael?
It is almost 5 a.m. here.
We're really committed, but yes. It's the Halloween special, so we have to do it at the spookiest time of the day, which is it's still dark.
Exactly.
We had a conversation only a couple of weeks ago. We just caught up and had a regular chat. We've never done that before. We've texted, back and forth. We just had like a phone call, and I think that went for about 4 hours. Like, we were just.
So it was a long one.
Yeah, I gave you a tour of my house because I was looking after my daughter. I was like, hey, I'm free to talk, but I'm on dad duty until my wife wakes up. Is that cool? And you're like, yep. So you saw my daughter from afar, and you saw a bit of the house, and she was asking all sorts of questions. I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit bloated. I do apologize for that. Just adding to the unsettling feeling of the episode being that it's Halloween themed. If anything is gross or weird, it's just part of the vibe of the episode, guys.
We planned it already. We planned it ahead of time. It's fine.
That's it. How have you been, sir?
The last couple weeks, I've been sick. So I went to the doctor like last week because I've been having really bad stomach pains, like constipation, all that fun stuff. I don't need to get into super gross, gory detail with that, but at first, like when I went to the urgent care first, or Instacare first, and they were like, we can't really find anything that's wrong. He said it could be like a kidney infection, or it could be like a gastrointestinal infection, and I've had that before, and it's not fun. So I was like, okay, whatever. And he was like, you can go over to the ER, and I was like, no, I can't afford that right now. Sorry. So I just went home. And it's like, I have ups and downs. Like, it's been fine some days, and then other days, like, I just have really bad acid reflux. My stomach hurts. Like, today, for some weird reason, I started throwing up out of nowhere, and then it was just gone. Like, I threw up, like, a few times, went to sleep, and then when I woke up, I felt fine. It was the strangest thing. But I was like, I swear to God, if I'm getting the flu on top of this freaking virus thing that I've got, I'm going to lose my shit. Because it was just like, that would just be my luck.
Metaphorically and literally as well, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
He said he wouldn't go there, but the audience knows I will go there with the joke. I'll cross all the gross boundaries.
Well, if you really want me to go there, I was literally this morning when I was throwing up, I had a trash can in front of me and I was sitting on the toilet and it was coming out of both ends. So it was not fun.
For those of you who haven't seen the new Exorcist film yet, don't bother. We've just given you we've given you a real life.
They just CGI insert me into the movie instead. And it's just me shitting on a toilet.
Oh, no.
The power of Christ compels you. I don't want to go to hell. Yeah.
There we
Disgusting.
go. We got some firsts on today's episode, guys. Some podcast firsts. Well, I'm sorry you've been feeling unwell. We've been chatting about that off and on as well. I've been unwell a little bit as well. I've missed some work and just been filling my days off or my sick days watching horror movies and stuff like that, which has been nice. Speaking of
Yeah.
which, it is October. You host a podcast called We Love Horror, which is
Yes.
still on hiatus. Is that right?
That is right. Yeah, I was gonna come back in October, but I don't know. I just didn't feel ready. I felt kind of pressured. And I think the thing that's, kind of made me wore out with the podcast is like there were times in the past, this, James, excuse me, this, like where I would be like, I'm going to take a break. And my break would last maybe 1 to 2 weeks because I always had that fear that if I'm gone for too long, people are going to stop listening and I'm going to
Mm,
lose the listenership and stuff like that. But it just got to a point where it's like, no, I need to take time away. So it's been
mm.
what, like 4 or 5 months now?
Well, you were on a hiatus before the last time you were on my show, and that was at this point will be over 10 episodes ago, so that's at least 3 months.
Yeah.
Um, so at least, and I would say you probably been on a hiatus for almost a month before that. So yeah, quite easily 4 months,
Yeah.
which is crazy. But you also did it nonstop for like 3 years. So it's like when you work too much or you do too much of anything. Like eventually, you need to take a break and just slow down. Um,
Yeah. And that's not accounting for, like, my mental health the last few years taking a huge fucking shit too, so it's been a wild 3 years, like,
yeah, for
so
sure.
but
It's funny. I
I'm
was
doing
sorry, go on.
oh,
No, you
sorry.
go. No,
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 you
no, you go
go.
ahead.
You're talking about
No?
your mental health. I don't want to step over you there. Please talk about it.
Oh, all I was gonna say is I plan on making a comeback pretty shortly, it's just I'm just trying to work myself back up to it because it's just been I don't know, it's been kinda nice not having to stress about, like, scheduling and getting people on, finding times to record and, all that stuff. So it's just been kinda nice just being able to chill and
Mm,
just kind of have more time for myself, and I think it's really helped. So I do plan on making a comeback in the near future. It might be at the start of the year though, because I don't know. I don't know if there's any point in me starting back up right now because it's just like the year's almost over. So maybe a good start for me would be January. So
yeah, I mean, look, you come back when you're ready. It's your absence is obviously very much noticed in the podcasting community for those of us who've worked with you time and time again. But you also have to look after yourself as well. And I'm just flattered that you're always willing to come on the show, considering you are taking that break for yourself. So you coming
of
on the show is always
course.
appreciated.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, like when I told everyone that I was taking my hiatus, I was like, I have no problem coming on to other people's podcasts. It's just like it's too stressful for me right now to have to like deal with like my mental health shit and deal with work and all the other things in my life and be able to keep up with my podcast because it was just getting to the point where I was having to reschedule with people constantly and I know that
Mm,
that's like super not professional and I know it's like I'm sure there's probably some people in the podcasting community that no longer want to record with me because that's just how it's been and so I just decided I was like I don't want to flake out on people anymore, like, so I'm just going to take a hiatus cuz it's just not good for my mental health. So yeah, but
yeah, no, for sure. Well, I'm glad, as I said, look, I'm glad you're taking care of yourself and you're taking that break. And the good thing is that the podcast will always be there. So whether it's,
yeah.
it's in 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, you'll always be able to just kind of come back in. You're a natural at it, so it's not like you'll forget how to do it. It's most
Yeah.
important. And I also know, I don't know if we talked about this in the last time or not, but I know you've got plans for a second show or maybe even a new show to take over the existing one, which I'm very excited about. And that one I think it'll be way easier for you to schedule because you're gonna have a co-host. So I don't want to. I can't remember if we talked about it or not, so I don't give it away if you haven't talked about it yet. But I'm very
Yeah.
excited about that.
I'm excited too. I'll keep it under wraps for now, but
Yeah,
I'll announce it soon. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
You're
excited.
like, shut up! I haven't said anything. I'm like,
No, you're good.
um,
You're good.
so October, spooky season. It's so funny, like that we observe it because we're horror fans, so we watch horror movies all year round anyway. But it's still like yeah, but October we'll really watch horror stuff. So have you been watching much this October, and what have you been digging into?
I actually have watched a lot, like, because there's like been a lot of new stuff coming out
Mhm.
lately. Um, so I watched. So I'll just get to like the good stuff first.
Sure, go for it.
So everybody that knows me from my podcast, I don't know how well your guests know me. I'm sure they know me pretty well at this point, but everybody knows how much I like have despised that they keep making Saw movies
Mm,
because it's like I really, really like the first 3 movies. I like
Hmm.
Saw 5 for the most part. I really like Saw 6. Um, and then the other ones after that, I'm just kinda like, "Why? Why do we keep doing this?" I will say, I used to hate Jigsaw. Like, I remember I did a ranking a couple of years ago when that movie came out, and I think it was the bottom of my list. But that was before Spiral came out. Spiral would be at the bottom of my list. I hated Spiral. But now I've watched Jigsaw again, and I kind of actually have a newer appreciation for it that I didn't. But that's not the movie we're talking about. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Getting
I
getting
watched all the
into
Saw films this month as well. So,
Yeah.
because I was like, I got excited about Saw X. I'm like, oh, and then I haven't seen Saw X. I was going to go see it with my friend Jess, who's been on the podcast, and then I read something about how a child was involved in the Saw trap, and I'm pretty sure the child gets away. Spoilers. I didn't read into the spoilers, but I'm sure they're not going to kill a child in a Saw film. But even still, I was like, you know what? In a couple of years, once my kid's old enough and I've kind of gotten used to this, I'll probably be okay to see
Yeah.
this in theaters. But I'll wait for DVD for this one. That's fine.
Yeah, see, I'm not bothered by, like, too much gory stuff unless it's, the sadness, but
Yeah.
we're talking about that movie again, but, with Saw, like, I've never really been bothered by the gore,
Oh, me
so,
either.
like but when we got to the part with the child, I was like, "I don't like this. I don't like
Okay,
that now that there's a child involved." I mean, it's not super crazy, nothing crazy happens, so rest assured, like, I think you'll be fine watching it.
for
But I
sure.
think it's, like, mostly the anticipation and the lead up of knowing that there's, like, a kid involved and you're like, "Oh god." Like but I have to say, I have to eat my words here because I was, like, literally, like, when they announced Saw 10, I was like, "Oh god." I rolled my eyes. I really did, and I was like, "Jesus Christ, we're doing this again." So, I was not really that excited up until right about, like, the week or 2 before it was gonna get released. Because then I started hearing, like, you other YouTubers that got early access to it, like the review YouTubers that are really big on YouTube. They were talking about how like surprisingly good it was, and I'd heard like nothing but really good reviews about it. So then I started getting excited.
Mm,
So then I went and saw it um like the day after opening night, and I fucking loved it. I loved it. It's in my top 3. It's
it's
like
doing.
in
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, you're good. It's in my top 3. I think it's bumped Saw 3 down to my 4 spot, and now I think it's taken either my number 2 or my number 3. I'm not sure.
Wow. It's
Yeah,
doing really
because
well critically as well. Like a Saw film is doing well critically. I think the first one did okay critically because it was just kind of like we haven't seen anything like this before, and like the closest thing we can compare it to is Seven, and Seven was great and maybe a bit underappreciated. So we want to show Saw love, and then after the first one, like, and again, like I don't really care what critics think. I've stopped paying attention to critics a long time ago because they're
yeah.
they're paid to give an opinion. But even
And
still, I
sometimes they're not always, like, sure about what they like and what they don't. Well, I'm sure they know about what they like, but I'm just saying, like, they hand it out to the masses as if we're all gonna agree with them?
and the other thing is that like some films you can't appreciate in one viewing. Some films require multiple viewings, and some films get better with age, and some films get worse with age. Like that's why the
Yeah.
critic, the critic thing is like it's such a small window. It's like, hey, we watched it opening weekend. These are our thoughts, and this is our judgment for the rest of time. It's like movies don't really work that way. Like
Yeah.
Psycho was panned when it came out, but Psycho's a wonderful movie.
I
Um,
mean, Halloween didn't immediately get successful either.
for
Like, you think
sure,
about some of these movies that are, like, horror classics now, when they first came out, people did not like them.
yeah.
Like, and that goes to show it takes one good review from somebody or, like, word of mouth, and that can really blow a movie up, but
I think The
yeah,
Thing
like
was also poorly received. John Carpenter's The Thing, I believe, was pretty poor received.
mhm.
Now it's heralded as one of like the go-to classics of the kind of the '80s era and even the modern era of horror. So,
It's hard to find somebody that doesn't have that movie in their top 10 list or, like, even
mm,
their top 5 list, because I feel like most people do, like The Thing and Halloween and, sometimes Psycho, but yeah, no, I really, really highly recommend seeing Saw 10. It's so good. Like, it's like it blew my mind how good it was. It had no right to be as good as it was, and
I love that.
somehow somehow they figured it the fuck out this time, like, because I was like, I had no hope for the franchise after Spiral. I
Mm,
was like, "What is this garbage?" I'm sorry. I did not like that movie. But yeah, I'm like eating my words now because I'm like, "Holy shit, I loved it." It's like literally in my top 3. So,
that's great.
yeah, and the traps were gnarly, like some of the like my I took my friend Eric with me, and there was one trap in particular that he was like because he can handle gore too. So I was not expecting this reaction from him, but he's like, "I'm gonna be sick. I need to leave."
I've
Like he's like,
heard that.
he's like,
There
"I
were,
can't leave."
yeah.
He's like, "I can't look at this. Like this is so bad." And I'm just sitting there like, doesn't bother me. I don't know if that makes me sound like a psychopath or what, but like, I mean, it does make me like cringe a little bit, but I'm not like nauseous.
It depends. Like it's interesting. Like with the Saw films, because I rewatched all of them recently as well, and I find that yeah, Jigsaw and Spiral are lower on the list for me. I think just because they're too clean, like they're shot so
Mhm.
prettily, and I'm like, no, 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 like it needs to be shot grainy and like low budget and in a dungeon, like all the other ones. These ones are too too clean.
Yeah.
But most of the kills I'm fine with because they're so over the top and ridiculous, and like it's just not saws cutting through people. It's like that's fine. The one saw trap that I struggle with even now, wasn't too bad this time around, but one I always have to fast forward through is the hair trap. With
Oh
it,
yeah, where it pulls her hair.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it scalps her. Like that to me is like that's the toughest one for me to watch. I'm like, well, that's I can relate to that. Like that could, I could imagine my hair getting pulled. It's kind of the equivalent of like something, like the skin between your fingers, like your fingernail. It's like like you can relate to.
Yeah.
But like I'm never like knock wood. I'm never going to be sitting in a bathroom change wall being like, well, time to cut my foot off. Like so I can kind of distance myself from those ones. Um,
Yeah.
it's funny. I loved the Saw films growing up because they came out right like as I was hitting the end of my teenage years. So I think Saw 4 came out. Sorry, Saw the original Saw came out, and I was about 16 years old. So like perfect age for these Saw flicks. And as they came out
Yeah.
and I got older, I just had no one to go see them with because a lot of my friends had written them off as kind of silly and stupid, and they are. But like that's okay because most films are silly and stupid, and that's kind of the point. And
Yeah.
I was talking to my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time. Obviously, now she's my wife. And I said, I'm like, hey, like, I really want to see this Saw movie. It's out in theaters, but no one will go with me. And she was like, well, are they scary? I'm like, no, they're just really gory, but they haven't been too bad lately. And she's like, all right, no worries. Well, look, I'll go with you so don't go by yourself. I don't know why I didn't just go by myself. Um, but she was like,
I used to not like going by myself in movies either. I always felt like a loser. I'm like, people probably
I
think I'm
love
like,
going.
yeah, actually, I love it now.
Mm.
Like, I've gone to a lot of movies by myself. Oh, sorry, continue.
Yeah, so she was like, you know what? I'll go with you. How bad could it be? It was Saw 6, which I would say is the most violent of the Saw films. Like it opens with a guy cutting his own stomach open and a woman chopping her arm off, and ends with a guy getting his like intestines melted with acid. And I was like, she had her eyes
Yeah.
covered. I would say over half the movie, and I felt so bad for her. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry that you came
Oh,
to this. Like, you just wanted to do something nice for me, and this is the most horrible film that you've probably ever seen.
she's probably traumatized for life. Yeah.
But it's a good flick. Like
Yeah.
it's one of the strongest Saw films. So
Yeah.
um,
I think like Saw 1, Saw, well, I don't know. This might be controversial, but I don't really like the first Saw that much anymore. Like, it just, like,
it's
there's just
slow.
certain things about it that haven't aged well. It's kind of slow. Like, I like the suspense of it. Some of the acting's pretty cringy, but I don't know. It's gone down in my ranking quite a bit because I'm just like it's not one. It's not like if I think of Saw movies to watch, that's not the first one I think of. I like hardly ever think of that one actually. So
I think it depends on my mood. And this is not a Saw episode, by the way, guys. Everyone's like, "Here's talking about Saw a
yeah,
lot."
I'm so
We
sorry.
no,
Yeah,
no, like because we'll talk about Saw more later as well, I'm sure. But yeah, like one is I really like one, but it does depend on my mood. It is a bit slow, but also I feel like one and two tonally are very different from the rest of the series. Like one and two are almost kind of like these, yeah, like kind of like these psychological like cop thrillers, and
yeah.
then like from three onwards, they're like, and now it's because in number two, like it's two's pretty tame compared to the rest of them as well. Like, what's the worst thing that happens? Like maybe the guy gets burnt alive. Like that might be the worst.
No, I think the needle trap is what most people
That was
think of.
rough.
Is when
When I saw it in theaters, I was like, oh my god. But like now watching it, I'm like, and I've seen a lot of horror films since then, as have you as well. Like you mentioned the sadness
yeah.
before.
Oof,
Um,
girl.
yeah, like they're tough. But then like in three, it's like a guy gets all of his limbs twisted off, and a woman's face
Mm,
explodes, and like, to me that face explosion is still one of the most brutal things in any of the Saw
yeah,
films.
for
Um,
sure.
but and this might be controversial. I really like the whole Hoffman story from like
Oh,
four,
I
five, and six. Like, yeah.
fuck that. I of a list of like most hated characters in the Saw franchise, he is number one for me. I cannot fucking stand Hoffman.
Oh, I
Sorry.
don't like him. I don't like his character, but I do like I just like
See, I
the
don't
I.
like the actor either. and there's something about his face that just he has a punchable face to me, and I'm just like, ooh,
For sure,
every time he's on screen, I'm just like, I just want to kill you.
for sure,
I know
for
that sounds
sure.
terrible, but I'm just like, I just want you to die, please.
But yeah, I think I like all of them in their own unique way. I think the weakest for me is Seven. I rewatch Seven. Like every time I watch Seven, it's so frustrating because it opens so strong. I remember even the trailer, they're like Saw goes public. I was like, what a great idea!
Yeah.
Like putting the traps out in the like out in the open. What a great idea! And that's like the only time they did it. And then and that one's very like kind of there's a new cop character because I had to kill off Strom, who was played by the guy from Gilmore Girls. But like that guy isn't his performance isn't very good in the movie, and like the traps are
He's
kind of cheap.
he's Todd from Final Destination. Did you notice that?
Yes, yeah, he is. That's right.
Yeah,
Um,
his acting in that movie is terrible. It's god awful. Like it's not just bad, it's really bad. Like there's the scene where he's like in the hotel room with Jill or that little room in the police
yes,
station or whatever, and he's like, "Crazy,
yeah, yes,
crazy." I'm like,
yes, yes,
"Stop, just
yes. I was
stop."
thinking that the other day. I was watching it. Um, but yeah, and like there's just weird choices in there. Like at the end when the twist is that that Hoffman's actually not there and the machine gun comes up. There is so much time for them to just duck. Like they could all just lie down on the
Yeah,
floor and they wouldn't get shot, but instead
he
they're
just
like,
stands there and stares at it.
"What?" And then Jigsaw, Jigsaw's an interesting one because it plays with the timeline a lot, and it sets up something that never really goes anywhere, unfortunately. Um, because
Yeah.
I liked a lot of the stuff. I liked the fangirl element, like the idea of the like the goth old girl who's like, yeah, I dig Jigsaw. And all. Like that's kind of cool. Like the idea of like this
Oh yeah,
cult of
she was a
Jigsaw.
cool character.
Like the idea of like, what if? And I think this came up in Scream Six a little bit. How it's almost a kind of a cult element with this. This like, what if they did that, like the cult of Jigsaw, and you had like little, I don't know, that there's something they were building there that's never went anywhere. And
Yeah.
Spiral, I don't mind. It's certainly very different. But I never thought of Spiral as a Saw film because it's a spin-off, which begs the question: why is it called Saw X? I thought it would be Saw 9 because we had Saw 7,
Well,
Jigsaw, which is kind of Saw 8, and then
technically it's Spiral from the Book of Saw.
exactly
So
that's what I mean. So
that's
it's
their way of tying it in
yeah.
because, I'm sorry. I fucking hate Spiral. I watched it once in the theater and I said I'm never going to watch this movie again. I hated it.
You got to it in the theater because that was during COVID times, so I remember I had to wait. I think because we
Yeah.
were shut down for a while. Um, yeah, look, it's certainly not great, and it was very predictable.
Yeah.
Like when they like again, spoilers for a movie that's 3 years old or whatever now. When there's only one character who dies, they don't show the trap for. That's kind of a
Mhm.
giveaway that maybe he's probably the killer.
Yeah, I knew the second they showed that and didn't show him like actually die, I was like, he's the killer. It's
I
him.
like that actor though, Max Minghella. Like he always plays a
Mm.
creep. Like he was also in
Yeah, me
Horns.
too.
Yeah,
Cuz he's fine. So,
he is a good looking dude. I was
mhm.
gonna say this might be controversial as well. I always thought Jill was kind of a babe. I was like, you know what? Like Jigsaw,
Yeah, she's pretty.
yeah, he's punched. Jigsaw, who's he was 70 years old playing a 50-year-old. So good on Tobin Bell for doing that,
It's
and
so wild.
punching above his weight a little bit. Although he's a pretty charismatic guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you watched Saw X. That was a long, that was a
Yeah, I'm
20-minute.
so sorry. Yeah, that was
That's you
um
and me, man. That's how we do this.
that's how we
Um,
do.
what else have
Um
you been watching aside from the Saw films?
so I finally watched Infinity Pool like just a
I
couple
still
days
haven't
ago.
seen it. It hasn't been released here physically yet, so I haven't had a chance. But it's got your favorite of all time, Mia Goth. Isn't she your
Oh,
favorite?
she's so great in this movie too. She's so fucking good. She's like, I mean, this movie was pretty good for the most part. I was talking with Tawny from Two Chicks and a Horror Flick, and we got in a big discussion about this. Um, but we were kind of talking about like we were like, what the fuck is happening in this movie? Like it is really good. I liked it a lot, and I liked Mia Goth in it, and I liked all the other people that were in it. But toward the end of the movie, I just kind of felt like, what was the point of all this? I guess that would be the only like negative I have to say about it is like it just feels like it leads to like no point whatsoever. So it was like, what was the point of all this? So
Mm,
that's all I'll say. I liked it. I thought Mia Goth, as usual, killed it. So in the role that she had me fucking dying of laughter in most scenes because she's like over the top fucking crazy. Like she's this crazy bitch. So
yeah, I got that from the
um
trailer. I remember watching the trailer and I was just like, There's one scene I think in the trailer where she's holding a gun at someone. I'm like, she's bringing
Yeah,
it. She's
yeah.
swinging for the fences. Yeah.
She's like Jamesy. She does like something like that or something. I can't remember, but yeah, it's great. Let's see what else. I don't really think I've watched anything like super new. I'm trying to think because I feel every time I come on here, like I always have these movies that I want to talk about, and then I get on and I'm like, I blank. I can't fucking
Mm.
remember. Um, oh, I saw The Nun too, as well.
Oh, your mascot Valak. How did you guys how did you guys feel about that movie? I haven't seen any of the Nun films. I'm so far behind on stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was better, definitely better than the first movie, like visually and story-wise. Like I enjoyed the story of the second movie a lot more. Um, but I'll say it's basically kind of like the same cheap jump scare type of
Mm.
movie that the first Nun was. It kind of falls into that category a little bit, but it wasn't an experience that I was miserable watching it. I just like it's not my favorite movie, but it was good for what we got. Like it's a step up. It's like a vastly improved movie from the first movie because the first Nun I feel like is kind of fucking boring. So
Yeah, I
I
haven't
think
seen it. I've heard that again at the time when all those movies were coming out, and this is when I was at the height of my snobbiest. Um, all I heard was that all the spin-off, like they were like, just watch the Conjuring movies, the spin-offs are garbage. That's what I'd been told. But I've heard since then that that's not quite true, and it was coming from people who were, maybe holding too high an opinion on those movies or something. I'm not sure, but
there's not to spoil too much ahead, but there's actually a sequel from the Conjuring franchise that's on my list. That's all I'll say.
oh,
But I
excellent.
think it's phenomenal, and it's actually my favorite film of the Conjuring franchise. That's all I'll say.
Oh, interesting. Looking forward to
Yeah.
that. Um, Giving a bit of a hint of what our topic is this week. We still because we're half an
Oh
hour in.
yeah. I'm
I haven't
sorry.
no, that's okay.
Yeah. Let's just jump into that now.
we've
Well, what have
we've been
you
talking for half
watched?
an hour, man. It's all good. um, I haven't seen much new. I've just been rewatching stuff. I watched all the Sleepaway Camp films again, which is always a fun time. And I watched all the Saw films as I mentioned, and I'm almost at the end of the Friday the 13th series as well. So I've been devouring a bunch of
Ugh,
stuff.
those movies are fucking rough, dude. Like
Friday the
I
13th.
don't. Oh my gosh, yeah. Like there's like some good ones like in the franchise. Like I think two and I think three is pretty good. Um, this is gonna be very controversial. I actually don't mind Jason Goes to Manhattan. I know that like it's
That's
kind
the
of
one
a
I'm watching
gimmick.
tonight. I literally put it on before we started recording. I watched about half an hour.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Like I know it's like gimmicky and people hate it because it's like he doesn't even go to Manhattan for more than like 5 minutes in the movie. But like I like the characters in that movie.
Hmm.
Like everyone's so pretty in that movie. Like I was watching that movie for an episode that I did on the Rick or Treat podcast, and I was like, oh my gosh, everyone in this movie is so freaking stunning. Like
Hmm.
the hair, the outfit. I mean, it was an 80s movie, so it's like I'm a sucker
Well, I
for
mean,
that shit.
most of them are 80s films, but most of them are very like cheap. And this one was as well, but at least they had enough for their hair and makeup. So um,
Yeah.
I controversially, I mean, I love um, Jason Takes Manhattan. I love Jason X as well. I think that one's really silly and fun.
Hmm.
I really like Five, the one where it's not Jason. I know a lot of people don't like that because it isn't, but I'm like, yeah, but Four was such a strong ending. Like, Five went out as to preserve that legacy a bit longer and just have it
Yeah.
as a copycat. Like, why not? Like, yeah, people are very harsh about movies sometimes, but so
Yeah.
I'm almost at the end of them. I don't love Jason Goes to Hell. I think that's my next one. I'm going to struggle with that one, I think, because that one's very slow. And it's like, yeah, but you don't see him in hell. It's a Jason. It's just an excuse to not put Jason in a movie. Like it's tough.
Yeah.
Um,
The remake was well, I don't know. Walk a fine line of calling it a remake because I don't think it's a remake. Because if it was a remake, then Mrs. Voorhees would be the killer again. It's not a remake; it's a reboot. People like
mhm.
it annoys me when people say remake because it's literally not a remake.
Yeah,
It's like a reboot. I mean, you get like the Jason finding his mask and stuff like that, which harkens back to the original movies, but it's really a completely different idea
mm,
from like the other like they don't even spend that much time in Camp Crystal Lake. They're there for like one scene and then they're back at this big ass house that they're, staying in. So
I thought the
I don't
house
know.
was on Crystal Lake.
I mean
I
it
think,
is, but I'm just saying like we don't spend time at the camp like the other movies do,
yeah.
most of them. Yeah.
Honestly, I've been rewatching them all. A lot of them don't spend much time at camp. Like four, there's no camp. So one, two, and three there's camp. Four, there isn't. Five, there isn't. Six, there is. 7 there isn't, 8 there isn't. Like
That's
actually
true.
most of these films, I think yeah, it's interesting, yeah, like going back because you're like, yeah, Camp Crystal Lake, that's where Jason's from, and then you watch them, and they're like, well, he's from there, but he doesn't really spend much time there anymore.
He
Uh,
travels a lot. He goes to Higgins Haven one movie, he goes to freaking, another place, another movie, so
what
but
else have I watched? I rewatched Last Night in Soho, which is really I really like that movie quite a
I
bit.
love that movie.
I
It's
was talking to
so
my
good.
wife the other night because we've been doing a director's series on the podcast. We just did Tarantino last week, and tomorrow, from the day that we're recording, I've got a Christopher Nolan episode dropping out, which is like 3 hours long. Um, and I was like, oh, we need to do an Edgar Wright one. I said to my wife, like, you should do the Edgar Wright one with me because you like his movies. And she's like, oh, yeah, we probably will, but she doesn't remember all of them. I was thinking back,
Yeah.
I'm like, Edgar Wright may be one of the few directors I can think of who has, I would say, a pretty flawless filmography. Like, the films aren't necessarily perfect, but there is not a single film in that series that I don't like. Like, I
Yeah.
love all of those movies, and that's rare. Like even Tarantino has films I don't like. I'll watch, but I don't love. But like, yeah,
Yeah, and even, like, Wes Craven and John Carpenter have made movies that I don't like,
yeah.
you know,
Like
even
he's only
Ari
made six
Aster.
in 20 years, but maybe that's the key. You
Yeah.
do less,
Yeah.
and that way they're more likable.
Yeah, even Ari Aster, I did not it's not that I didn't like, uh,
Bo
what
is
is his
afraid.
Beau is Afraid. It was just a movie that I just, like, watched, and I was like, "I never have to watch this movie again."
It's
I'm
so funny you mentioned because I've pulled it out to try and watch again in October, but I've got all three of his films, and that's like 10 hours worth of movies right there because all of his films are so long. But I
Yeah.
remember sitting in the theater watching Bo is Afraid, and afterwards I went, I'm like, I think I love it, and it's genius, but also it could be the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I'm not sure yet. Like,
Like, I legit had, like, a headache after it. I was like, "What did I just watch?" And was the 2.5 hours or however long, 3
oh,
hours,
three, yeah, three.
was it worth the time that I spent watching this? Like, I couldn't tell if I liked it or hated it either. Like,
It
I was
was
like,
pretty easy to follow until he got to like the forest and he's watching the play, and then he's in the play, and then the play
that
takes
was
like
actually my favorite part,
Oh, I
though.
loved it, but I was just like, what's going on? Like, it's just a 40-minute tangent that has nothing to do with anything.
It
Um,
reminded me of Mother, like, how chaotic the end of
yes, I
like,
love
that's
Mother.
that's the best way I can describe Beau is Afraid. It's, like, literally that from, like, beginning to end. It's, like, literally chaotic just like Mother is towards the
Mm.
back half of the movie, and it just doesn't stop. Like, it's just so much.
Um,
But
Unsurprisingly, Parker Posey is brilliant in that movie, though.
she is. That part, I don't know why, but that part where she, like, becomes, like, a corpse freaked me out because I was not expecting it.
Yeah, and
I was
it's
like,
like a
"Ooh."
an unsettling face. That was almost like a Felissa Rose at the end of Sleepaway Camp face. Just like, oh,
Yeah,
like I was watching that Sleepaway Camp at the start of the month. It was my first movie of October, and like when her face comes up at the end, I had to
and
turn
she's like,
like I always have to turn it off as soon as it happens. I can't look at it for too long. It's scary, man. Like it's legitimately frightening.
yeah.
Um, she's
Yeah, so
wonderful in that flick as
so
well.
that yeah, so that movie gave me that part of the movie gave me a little spook. I was not
Yeah.
expecting that. I was like, "Oh god."
Mhm.
Um, but yeah,
Uh,
sorry, I'm going on tangents again,
no,
Jesus.
that's what we do. Man. That's what we do. So I haven't really watched anything new this October. I do have. By the time this episode comes out, I should have seen Talk to Me because I've ordered it, so it's getting delivered. And everyone seems to love that movie. Like I haven't heard a bad thing about it. So
Thank you for reminding me because that's another movie I've watched.
mm.
Controversial again. Um, I really, 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 really like it. I think it's a great movie, but I don't agree with some of the hype that people are giving it. Um, Mostly just because I feel like the first half is like super, super strong. And then we get into the second half, and I felt like it kind of became a paint by numbers kind of
Okay,
predictable movie where it was like certain things were happening that I'm like, okay, I know what's going to happen after this.
interesting.
Um, and it wasn't like people were hyping it up as if it was going to be like the scariest movie they've ever seen. So I was like going into this being like, okay, if I feel like I'm going to get genuinely like freaked out. And I wasn't genuinely like terrified. I mean, there were a couple of scenes that I was like uneasy with.
Mm,
Um, but it just got to a point where I was like, okay, like I wish this was going a different direction than where it's going. But the ending is fantastic. I loved the ending. And it's a great movie overall. Like, I think it's really, really good. I think I had too many high expectations for it with all the
mm,
hype it's been getting. So I did not come out of the movie as like "Ooh," like, as, like, excited as other people were. So I don't
Th
know.
this
Maybe
is why I
people are
have
gonna
you on the show, because then you can, like, meet my expectations. Like, now I know not to go in too hyped up. I hope it's good, like, and it sounds like at least it is good, because Australia
Yeah.
hasn't had a solid, like, we've pardon me, we've made some horror flicks, but we haven't. I would say our last really great one was The Loved One, so we're due for a really good horror film from Australia again.
Mhm.
And but this year also, like, I haven't seen a ton of horror, but we need a scary film this year. I haven't watched really any horror films this year that have scared me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back to what I've seen. Like, the big one that I was anticipating was Evil Dead Rise. I'm like, this is going to be terrifying. That trailer was really scary. And then I
Yeah.
sat there, and I remember I waited. I put aside 2 hours during the daytime because I knew I'm going to watch it at night because I'm a sook. And I was like, I have the lights, the windows cracked a little bit so I can get some light in. And if I need to quickly open the shutters to not scare myself, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I sat there like kind of with my arms crossed the whole time. And like, don't get me wrong, it's a fun movie. Like, and it is 100% an Evil Dead film, and like it does a lot of things. But like, it just wasn't. I was expecting it to be terrifying, and I was sitting like, oh,
Yeah.
I could have watched this at night. Like, okay. Um,
Yeah. I
and
think the
and
most scary part of the movie is, like, Ellie, like, the look of her. I will
yeah,
say
for
she's
sure.
definitely more scary than Mia from the 2013 one. Like, the look is, like, a lot scarier.
I just watched the 2013 remake yesterday actually. And boy, that flick holds up well. Like, it's been
It's
10 years.
so good.
So good. Um so yeah, I don't know if I would say maybe the scariest thing I've seen this year so far, and like people are gonna roll their eyes, is maybe Scream 6. And I don't think Scream 6 is a particularly scary film, but you had a very brutal and scary ghost face, which at least kind of made up for, especially that opening sequence. Like, whew.
Loved it. Yeah.
um but yeah, I did like I haven't seen Cobweb, which people were loving. I haven't seen Boogeyman, which people were reportedly loving. So I haven't seen a ton of horror this year, but I haven't seen, like, last year. I thought it was a pretty good year for horror, and but it wasn't until the end where I got the scary one. Like, Smile was the one that, like, I was like, okay, that's the scariest look I've seen this year. I know some people didn't think it was that scary. I'm looking at you being like, "Pff."
I that's another movie I genuinely, like, don't understand the hype with. Like, I mean, there were some good scenes and stuff, but I just felt like that movie was pretty generic as well. Like, there were just things that I was just like, "Okay, this is gonna happen in this scene." And I don't mean to sound like a know-it-all, like,
Oh, not at all.
your listeners probably are like, "Oh, he thinks he knows everything," but it's like, when you get to a point where you've watched as many horror movies as I do, like, you
Yeah, for
tend
sure.
to, like, expect things, like, for example, like, there was a show that we were have you heard of the show Slasher? It's got, like, 7
Yes.
seasons now, I think. So the
Really?
latest,
Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
it's a fucking great show too. I
Cool.
mean, it's super gory though, but there in
It's
the
great.
latest scene, there was a specific character that I called out being the killer within, like, the 2nd episode. I was like, "This person is the killer. I know it is the killer, absolutely, 100%." And that person ended up being the killer. And
Mm.
Eric was like, "No, it's not that person." And I was like, "It absolutely is that person, because 'cause I've seen a lot of scary movies and I know that, like, what they're trying to do." But anyway, yeah, it's just I don't know.
No,
I found
I don't think you're being a know-it-all, because that's the thing. Like, when you've watched as much as we have, and also like fear, like everything in entertainment is subjective, and like what scares one person is not going to scare another person. And like for me, for the biggest time, like for my entire childhood, I was afraid of the dark, like for a long, long,
Oh,
long,
I'm
long time.
still afraid of the dark, so
So like when it cut to, like, so when there's that shot in Smile where she gets home and you just see like the mouth in the corner of the house, like in that dark night, I was like, you know what? That's enough for me tonight. And then, like, yeah, it's a lot of jump scares and stuff like that. But that was the one that got me the most last year. And I haven't had
yeah,
anything really kind of get me, or kind of like have me kind of like tense up. I haven't had anything do that to me yet. So I'm hoping we get
yeah,
some pretty creepy stuff before the end of the year. But if not, it's all good. Like, can't not every year can be a winner, but there's been, like, the horror I have seen I have liked. So, there's that.
yeah. No, I'm still terrified of the dark. I sleep with a nightlight every night, so it's
Nothing wrong with that,
a lot.
man. If I had never got moved in with my oh, I got a sneeze coming. We'll power through it. If I'd never moved in with my wife, I'd still be sleeping with a nightlight. It was only because she couldn't, she needed pitch black. I was like, well, you're the boss, so I just
Yeah.
I just dealt with it. Although
Well,
the first time
yeah.
I watched Sinister was when we were living together, and that night I was like, hey, you can sleep with the lights off, but can you just let me fall asleep first? Because that movie messed me up. Like,
Yeah. And I'm perfectly fine if, like, I have another person sleeping in the room with me. It's just when I'm by myself that I have to have
mm.
a, like a nightlight on, so but Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway,
for sure.
do we wanna move past this, 45-minute tangent and get into our lists?
This is why I've said it like so many times, but this is why I get you on the show because you're a talker. We can just have
Yes.
a good old ramble and chat about stuff. And
There's
again,
never
like,
there's never a time when it's just us sitting here like,
yeah, like, oh, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna talk about?
"So
Um,
anyway," yeah.
just give us a second while we think of a topic. No, and like you only owe me no apologies because my first appearance on your show, actually my only appearance on your show, I got to come when you get your show
I
back up. I got to
know.
come back. Um,
Yeah.
I've talked about it before. You play a game where you're like, "Hey, Desert Island is a 5 minute warm up game." I spent about 40 minutes playing that game, so you never need to
Yeah.
apologize because I commandeered that podcast like from moment one.
It's
Um,
perfectly fine. I was okay with it.
so Halloween special. We were trying to think of something special to do, something exciting, something different we haven't really done on the episode before. So we are going to do surprise a list, but with a twist. We're doing two lists each. So we're doing our favorite horror remakes. Well, not our favorite, but just some of our favorite horror remakes and some of our favorite horror sequels. So we were trying to decide whether we're going to go with underrated or whether we just went for our all-time favorites. And we're like, look, it's Halloween. Let's just talk about stuff we like that are either sequels
Yeah.
or remakes. Um, and there's no real kind of order to the list. We're not being too like hard on ourselves there because there's so many. And like one thing, because you and I, because we grew up around the same time, there's only a couple of years between us. We kind of
Yeah.
grew up in that 2000s boom of remakes. So whilst all those classic horror fans were hating on everything that was coming out, we were loving it. We are like, oh my
We were
god, like
yeah.
with that the risk of mentioning something that might come up again. I remember I was like, oh my god, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like House of Wax, Friday the 13th, My Bloody Valentine. Like at the time, I was just like, there's so many like 80s films that have come back and like they're doing like a more brutal take on them. And like I might have
Yeah.
mentioned a bunch of films where you're like, oh my god, James, they're awful. And if you feel that way, that's fine. But it's just like, oh my god, like they're rebooting everything and they're doing these remakes. So like, um, feel like we grew up in the perfect time because we got to enjoy the old and the new, but
And the
also
new.
the crossover between us. Like, hey, we're going to reimagine all of those. So, um,
Yeah. It's kinda crazy when I think back about it because, like, we went through so many, like, renaissances of horror, like, during our time.
for
Like,
sure.
we went through the torture porn era for a while. We went through the Japanese, like, ghost movies for a while. We
Hmm.
went through the re it's like when you I'm like it's kinda crazy for me to think about how many eras of horror I've lived through personally, like, in my lifetime. I'm like, "Holy shit, there's, like, so much that we've been able to experience," and it's like, I'm so grateful for it. So, like,
For
sometimes
sure.
when people complain about, like, remakes and stuff, I'm like, I can understand to a certain extent because that's how I felt about Rob Zombie's Halloween movies when they first came out. I was like, "I fucking hate these. Like, why are they
Mm,
ruining the original?" But I got older and I started to realize I was like, you can enjoy the old movie and you can also enjoy the remake for what it does, different.
mm.
So anyway,
And my
yeah.
feeling is like, and my like to take it away from horror for a second, but like one thing that came up a lot during my time was Spider-Man. Like, why are they remaking Spider-Man again? It's like, no, no, no. Like, as long as they're breathing life into that franchise, there's always
Yeah.
potential for new. And if this version isn't yours, don't stress. As long as there's interest and it keeps making money, we can get to where we need to go. Like, same with these Halloween films. I know these David Gordon Green Halloween films were very divisive. Like, some people love them, some people not so much. Um, but it's like as long as like we hadn't had a Michael Myers film since those Rob Zombie ones, which was over 10 years ago. Like, so as long as
Yeah.
someone's doing something with the franchise, there's interest. Like I was getting pretty nervous about Jason for a while because he hadn't had anything since 2009. But apparently they're working on something now, or like they're trying to get something going. But it's
Yeah.
like just
I think it's a TV series that's actually getting
okay. Like
made,
I just saw
which is kinda
Miramax
cool.
is doing a Halloween TV show. I'm like, just put him on the big screen. Like I don't care about TV shows. Like I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry. Like I should be. I'm not the positive guy, but I just ironically, I will sit down and watch, 7 Saw films in a row in a day, but I don't want to do that with episodic TV. Just put them on the big screen for me. Like that's what I want. Uh,
Exactly. Yeah.
we did go through quite a few because we had, in the 90s, we had kind of the reintroduction, or the introduction of like the meta horror with Scream, um, and
Found
then
footage with
found
Blair
footage with
Witch.
Blair Witch, and then love it or hate it, kind of brought back with Paranormal Activity and movies like that as well. We had the rise of the indie horror, like especially in like the
Mm.
2010s. Like you had the Blumhouse, like built a studio on independent cinema, which was kind of cool, like low
And
budget
now
indie horror,
yeah, now we have A24, which is so great.
the gold standard of all things horror. Like Did they
I mean,
also?
all things just films in general, because like there's movies that aren't horror movies that are A24 that I'm like, these
Yeah, for
movies
sure.
are masterpieces. Like Lady Bird, Eighth Grade was really freaking good.
Oh, I still haven't seen Eighth Grade, but I really want to. I've heard nothing but wonderful things. Is it Bo Burnham? Is it his?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he's great. He's such a good
Isn't
like.
he a comedian?
He is a comedian.
That's what I thought.
I'd
Yeah. I
first,
was
I
like,
think the first thing I saw him in was in Parks and Rec, because he plays like this, like
yeah,
yeah, he plays like the whingy like country musician. My
yeah,
wife and I always sing his song because it's like, oh, what is it? Um, you bring the girls and I'll bring the beer, and the troops will bring the freedom. Like, because all his songs are
yeah.
just like super American.
Oh,
Um,
don't get me on my Parks and Rec and Office
uh,
tangent, because I could talk about those shows
I
all
don't
day.
think
I
I
love
knew that you were
them.
a huge Office fan, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, devour. I think we're on our like 14th rewatch. I don't know. We love The Office and Parks and Rec. So,
Yeah.
and my daughter, who's 3 years old, like she doesn't get it, but like it's not, we're not bad parents. It's just not that unsuitable. Like it's fine. Like it goes over her head. But like whenever we get past season 7 after Michael leaves, she goes, "Where's Michael? Why isn't Michael at work?" Like
Yeah.
because obviously Steve Carell left. So,
I don't
all
like
right.
to
So,
talk I don't like to talk about that episode very much, because that episode, like, destroys me every time I watch it. Like, it's the part when Pam meets him at the airport that gets
mm,
me every fucking time,
so
because
beautiful.
he doesn't think he's gonna get to see her, and
Yeah.
then she just shows up and they have this moment, and it just like the waterworks. I cry
Mm.
every time. That episode, and the episode where he proposes to Molly. It's Molly, right?
Holly. Um,
Ollie, thank you. I
yeah,
knew it was something Ollie.
that one
When
always
he
makes me cry. Yeah, that's such a great moment. And one of my single favorite pieces of acting in anything ever is it's not even verbal. It's just Pam's reaction when Jim asks her out to dinner, and she kind of goes from like stunned to smile to tears, and I'm like, oh my god, like give her all the awards. Like that is like it's 3 seconds and it tells an entire story. Like it sums up
yeah,
everything we've been building to for 3 seasons. Like perfect. Um,
yeah,
there we go.
it's
I
great.
didn't know that you were an Office fan, and now like we're gonna be like there's gonna be so many different memes and reels and stuff now on Instagram. Now that we've
We'll
opened
do
the
it.
store,
We'll do a spin-off of The Office. We'll do a podcast together, James, just strictly about The Office.
I did. That's. Before, I think I talked about this last time you were on. Like I did a show briefly, very briefly. We did a podcast about The Office. My wife and I and my friend Nick called "That's What She Said." It went for about 14 episodes, and then
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
we just made a TV movie podcast instead. All right, so we're gonna we got sidetracked again.
Yeah, we did. It happens.
All right, so
Your listeners are used to it by now. They just like
for sure.
they either bear with us, or they just skip like ahead. Like maybe you should put a timestamp, like uh like they do
Yeah,
on YouTube now, where they have segments now where you can go. So it's like ramble, 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 45 minutes
yeah.
discussion, and they could
Episode
just skip
really
over.
starts at 55 minutes in, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Seriously.
so we're going to talk remakes and sequels. And we didn't really come up with a game plan beforehand. Should we do one list at a time? Do you want to jump from list to list to list? That sounds like it could be a bit confusing. Should we just do?
I think we should do one list at a time, but the question is, what list do you want to start with?
Mm, do we go? Well, I don't really mind. Do we want to go? ah, you're the guest. What would you like to do? Let me just put all the pressure on you.
Let's see. Let's go with sequels.
Yeah,
Sequels
cool.
sound fun. Yeah, I like the sequels. I also mentioned to you before we started that I do have a couple of honorable mentions, because actually, when I went to go do this list, I was like, oh, this is going to be easy peasy. Like, I'm going to have this list figured out in 2 seconds. And then I went in and I was like, no. And then I started thinking about all the other really good sequels and remakes. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? It was actually way harder than I thought it was going to be. But here we are.
It was
Um,
tough, and I'm going to preface this for the remakes list, but I guess actually it doesn't really apply to my sequels list. But for my remakes list, some of these movies I haven't seen the originals for, but that doesn't mean the remakes aren't good. So if we list sequels that we haven't seen the originals for, same rules. Like it doesn't have to be
yeah.
better than like we're not talking about what's superior. We're just talking about good, different good sequels and good remakes or stuff we like.
Yeah.
Um, all right, I'll let you start. What's the first sequel
Okay.
on your list?
So I only have two honorable
Oh,
mentions.
cool. Yeah, jump into those first for sure.
Okay. So the first one is going to be The Purge: Anarchy. I fucking
Mm.
love this movie. It's the best one out of all
It
three.
is. It was almost
It
on my top 5 list, and I took it out the last minute.
it's so good. It's, like,
Yes.
so good, and I'll never forget, like, seeing it in the theater, and it was just, like, I was so pumped, like, to watching this I was, like, mesmerized watching this movie. I loved it because the first one, it's not bad, but it's
It's
not great, like,
underwhelming.
yeah, and, like, you don't get, like, anything about, like, the world outside of this house, which granted, I understand that for a first movie, they probably wanted to keep it more, like, grounded and, like, keep it, like, within a family, which I understand. It's just more so my issue with the first one was the fucking people were just stupid as fuck. These kids, I was just like, "Just kill them. Kill this fucking family because they're all so stupid."
I remember.
Like,
I agree with you so much on this because I remember when I watched, because everyone was talking about the Purge, like the Purge, the Purge, the Purge. It's so scary. So I watched it. I was like, oh, it's kind of like The Strangers, but The Strangers are scarier. Why didn't
yeah.
they go out into the real world? Because like otherwise, it's just another home invasion film. And I like The Purge. I think it's a fine, a finely made film, and there's some good
Yeah.
performances. Like the lead bad guy, like when he kind of walks, he has that monologue. He's
Oh,
like,
he's
"Hello." He's
creepy.
great. He's an Australian actor. Um,
Yeah.
he was in Home and Away at the same around the same time Chris Hemsworth was. That's one of our soap operas in Australia.
Nice.
Um, but so I like that performance, but I was like, it's just a home invasion film. Why don't they go out in the world? And then when Anarchy came out, and like second, like first of all, great idea, get them out in the streets. To cast
Yeah.
Frank Grillo, who's like,
Ooh,
I don't know,
don't even girl, don't even get me started. That man is so fine.
he's
Anyway.
great, man. He's so good. Like I
Mm,
remember when I saw him, I was like, they should make this guy the Punisher. Like that's who like if they're gonna do a superhero thing, and he ended up playing a
yeah.
Marvel hero. And I think he's doing some DC stuff now. But I'm like, he's so like jacked and like got a great attitude and stuff. Like what a great, and it also kind of reminded me. And I know this is on your list, and I've just talked all over you. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It reminded me in a way of Resident Evil Apocalypse. It kind of gave me the same sort of vibe, just kind of like people out in the streets just trying to survive the chaos of it all. I think it's a better film than Resident Evil Apocalypse, although I do like that movie as well.
I
Um,
do love Resident Evil Apocalypse, so
yeah,
it's pretty good.
it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sorry. I just got excited because never hear anyone talk about the Purge movies really, and that sequel, that first sequel is so good. So sorry, I got excited.
Well, Election Year is fucking great too. I love
Mhm.
Election Year. Election Year and Anarchy are like my top 2 of that entire frame. I love those 2 movies because 'cause they're
Mm,
so good. Um, I also really like how, like, you get 3 different storylines in the
mhm,
second movie. Like, you get, like, this couple that's stranded because their car breaks down. You get, like, these 2 women that are inside their apartment, a mother and a daughter, and then you get Frank Grillo's character who's, like, going on a revenge hunt for this guy that killed his son, I think?
mm. I
Like,
think
hit him
so.
with a like, it was, like, car accident or something.
I'm trying to
So, like, you
remember.
get,
It's been
like,
a long
these
time since I've seen it, but yeah.
yeah, like, you get all 3 of these storylines, and they intertwine, like, flawlessly. Like, the way that these characters all meet up together, you, like, completely buy it. Like, it doesn't feel choppy, like, it doesn't feel like, "How do these fucking characters meet up with each other?" Like, it feels real, it feels good, like, I love it. I love it. I have nothing bad to say about The Purge Anarchy. I think it's a perfect movie, like, one
Have
of the most like, it's so good, especially
it's
when you get to, like, that last arena scene where they're, like, hunting like, the rich people are, like, putting all these people in, like, this arena style, like, Hunger Games almost kinda thing.
yeah.
Part is really cool too.
Did I ever tell you my idea for a Purge film? It's so dumb, but this is my idea for a Purge film.
Okay, I
So,
also have one.
so for the first like 3 quarters of it, it plays like a rom-com slash romantic drama. It's about this couple, like kind of they meet after the purge. Like the purge has just happened, and like they meet, and kind of follows their relationship for like 12 months, and then on the next purge, you find out that like he's responsible for the death of someone in her family, and she's been luring him in for a year just to get her revenge. That's my purge idea.
I hate you right now because also have a similar idea like that, but it's 2 friends that go out to, like, this friend's cabin in the woods to, like, avoid the chaos in the city, and you find out that, the other friend caused, like, a car accident that killed, the other friend's best friend, but left him alive on purge night because he says that he was like, "I was rushing to get home. I lost control of my car, crashed." But the twist is, so there's like a twist within a twist. You find out that he killed his friend's other friend, but then you also find out that he's the person that's wreaking revenge on his friend, the innocent friend. And
Mm,
he's been planning this for years, which I thought was
nice.
really scary because I'm like, he's pretending to be this guy's best friend for like years, and he actually intended to kill him in the car accident, but he didn't realize that his other friend was in the car with him. So
Mm.
so it's kind of like I thought it was a cool idea to like be like, it's not always like the people in the street that are the problem. Sometimes it's the people you trust the most that can be the bad ones. And I thought that, so when I heard you say that, I was like, God damn it. Maybe we can work on it together though.
I was like, we need to, Jason Blum. Like, if you happen to hear this, we got some ideas. We'll get a Purge film for you. Don't worry. I
And I
just
kind
thought,
of already have, oh, sorry. Well, I was
uh,
just going to say, I kind of already have a script started.
oh,
So,
then you've taken the reins already. Like, yeah, that's to me. It's like the idea about the Purge is like there's so much room for revenge in there because you get that
mhm.
one chance where it's legal, and they haven't really played with that yet. And like you can
Yeah.
see that like it's obvious on people's minds because you and I we've never talked about this before. I just told you an idea I've had for a couple of years. You told me an idea that was very like similar in as much as we both had these ideas for revenge films. Like why hasn't that? Yeah. Instead we got
I think we should team up and write a script together and make a Purge movie.
yeah, instead we got the Forever Purge, which is fine.
I still haven't actually seen that one.
It's
I actually
interesting.
have it on I actually have it on DVD and I've had it for the last year and a half and I've never watched it.
It
So,
starts off. It starts off really cool. Like there's a twist like in the first 15 minutes. I can't remember. I think it's like it might be even less than 15 minutes. There's a twist in like the first kind of 10-15 minutes where I was like, oh, this is interesting, and then like it
yeah,
just kind of goes on, and like it's very much a commentary on like I would say like the Trump era of America. Like they've used it to
that
make a
makes
political,
sense.
which is fine. Like I think horror in particular is a great medium to make a political statement. So I don't mind that at all. But it just kind of got to be repetitive after a while. But it's
Yeah. Yeah,
but
that's fair.
also like what it set up was kind of like I found it. I don't really know where they go from here, like with what they set up with this film, because they kind of made a decision. It's like, oh, well, you've really kind of only left one door open now for your sequels. You can only really kind of keep doing what this is. So,
Yeah, you've
um,
kind of pigeonholed yourself into one little thing, so,
yeah,
yeah.
but still
Well,
interesting stuff here. Yeah,
maybe our movie can break the mold,
for sure.
so,
I got completely.
sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, what's your other honorable
Oh,
mention? We
yeah,
haven't
I'm
started
so
our list
sorry.
yet.
I know. So my other honorable mention, and I like don't understand why this movie is so hated on. It's like a movie that I like genuinely enjoy, and maybe it's like partially because I have like um sentimental because I watched these first two movies when I was like super young. But it's gonna be I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes, so good. Love
So
it.
good. Yeah.
The
I mean
only
it's
the only dumb thing is the twist. Like the twist is dumb.
oh
Like
yeah. Will
Ben's son.
Benson?
Like,
Benson. Yeah, it's so bad.
but
Like
everything else is great.
yeah, like, the location that they go to is great, which is kinda cool because it was an actual hotel that they
Mm,
went to. I think it was, like, in Mexico or something, and it's, like it's really sad because I actually watched a YouTuber explore that hotel, like, 20 years later, and it's, like, completely abandoned and, like, falling
mm,
to shit now, and apparently, like, the people that had the hotel weren't keeping up with it,
mm.
so it just kinda fell into disrepair, and it's kind of just on this island by itself now. Um, but I love this fucking movie.
Yeah, it's
I
really
don't
good.
I don't think it's as good as the first one because I like the fact that the first one is more suspenseful and
Hmm.
it's not really a straight up slasher movie like the back half is, like when you get into like Helen and Barry getting chased around and killed and stuff like that. But like the second movie plays off like a absolute slasher movie. Like people are just getting killed left and right. But what I love about it is I love that like I don't know, I love it's so fun to watch, like,
Hmm.
it's like one of the movies that I think often to put on and watch, like, I don't get sick of this movie. I think
Mm,
gener and as much shit as I give about Julie James, like, I still don't like her that much. I think she's a terrible final girl. I think I will say it till the day I die, Helen Shivers should have survived and Julie should have died, but that's just me, and I'm pretty sure the majority of people agree with that. Um, she's a lot better in this movie. Like, I will say she's a lot more tolerable because I feel like in the first one, she's just kinda cold to everyone, you know?
mm.
And this one, she's a little more fun-loving, like, she's obviously like, post-traumatic stress is obviously a big thing with her, but I also fucking love Brandy so much.
Yeah,
I love Brandy.
I like
Like,
all of
she's
them in
no
that movie. They're all great in
Yeah,
there.
oh, well,
Yeah.
I don't like Brandy's boyfriend. He's really
Mackay
annoying because all he
Pfeiffer.
does yeah, because all he does is bitch and moan in that movie, like, every fucking scene of him. He's like, "Oh, why can't we have sex, babe? Oh, why can't" like, he's always whining. It's every scene he's in, I'm just like, "Can you just die?" Like, his death is so satisfying to me, like, when it happens, I'm like, "Yes, it's about fucking time." Um, but I love Brandy. She's no Sarah Michelle Gellar, she's no Helen, but she picks up that sidekick role, like the best friend role
Mm.
really well. Um, and honestly, I think Brandy's the best part of the second movie, if I'm being honest. I think she's fucking
She's
great.
pretty strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
remember it would be about 12 months ago actually, because I think it was when I was talking to Harley and Tyler about it. I was like, why have they not done anything with this franchise? Like, why did they only do two? Like, even if two didn't do well, and I know they did a third one, like a direct to video.
and it's garbage.
I've
Yeah.
never seen it.
It's garbage. Don't watch it.
That's what I've heard. But I'm like, how come they never remade it? Like, we just talked about how we went through that era of remakes, like through the 2000s and 2010s. Like, how come that one didn't get picked up? And now they finally are doing something with it. And
Yeah.
um, Freddie Prinze Jr. is coming back, and is Jennifer Love Hewitt coming back as well? Is that what I read, or was it Sarah Michelle
I
Gellar?
that's what I heard, but I mean if they don't bring back Brandy or fucking Sarah Michelle Gellar, I'm like not going to be happy cuz I'm like if you're
Well,
doing a like if you're
yeah,
doing a reboot, then you should bring them back.
yeah, because it's not a sequel; it's a reboot, so you can use those actors again, which is cool. But it just feels like it took them so long to kind of get their act together with this one. Like, what
Yeah.
a it's like to me, like I don't know, like that seemed like a huge. There are only two of them, but it seemed like a huge part of the '90s. Like, I just feel like that was a real like. I remember like Jennifer Love Hewitt came down to Australia to promote it. Like, it was the '90s. Like, that wasn't really happening for us. We're pretty far
Yeah.
away. Like, she came up and she was on like we had this talk show. So stupid. This talk show called Hey Hey It's Saturday. That's how creative we are down here.
I
And she
love it.
came
Hey,
on.
hey, it's Saturday.
Yeah,
Love
it was
it.
like a variety show and stuff like that. And she came on that, and I was like, "This is nuts! Like, this is like she's a real actress from Hollywood. Like, why is she on this
Yeah,
dumb show?" Um, so that's a franchise that seems to be like neglected for far too long. So I'm glad they're finally doing
for
something with it.
sure. Well, and I also like love um I love some of the side characters in this movie that aren't in for very long. Like Jack Black, fucking hilarious. He's so
So
great in
good.
this movie.
Yeah, he's great.
Um
One of his first film roles.
yeah, the woman that plays the bartender is great too. I still to this day I'm like she did not have to fucking die. Why did you kill her? She was great. Like I loved her. For the short time of screen time she had, I'm like, are you fucking really gonna kill her off? That's bullshit. Um, but the chase scenes in this movie are really good too, because I
Hmm.
remember watching it the first time and I was like, how are they gonna top like Sarah Michelle Gellar's chase scene? Because that is literally the most iconic to this day
For
horror
sure.
chase scene
Yeah.
in horror history. Um, and I mean they do pretty well. Like there's the whole scene where he's chasing them through the hotel, like they get up to the attic, and then you get the chase scene with Brandy where he chases her into the fucking uh, greenhouse type
I was gonna
thing.
say there's a
So
greenhouse chest in there. I always remember like the glass breaking. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's so good. Like it's such a good movie. And then you get to the twist and it's pretty lousy, but it's fine. But yeah, sorry. Those were
That's
my
okay.
two honorable mentions
But
and we
they're
spent
great. I'm
like
so glad
another
you brought them both up.
yeah, because I was like, oh, it pained me not to put any of them on my actual list. I really wanted to, but I was like, at the end of the day, there are like a couple of more that I just like better that are going to be in place of this. So we'll get into my number five pick
Before you
finally.
do, I've just made a decision right now in my mind. What I'm going to do is, if anytime you bring up a movie that's on my list, I'm just going to chip in, and I'm not going to do like
Perfect.
because we're not doing them ranked. We're just talking about them. I'll just jump in and talk about it from my point of view as well. If we've got any matchups, I think for sequels we'll have at least two matchups.
Yeah,
That's what I reckon.
perfect. Sounds
Um,
great. I
all
love
right,
that idea.
go for it.
Okay, so my number five is going to be 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Oh, it's not on my list, but I love that movie.
Yeah, me too.
MSW, no MEW, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Don't get me started,
So
James,
good.
because you know how much I love her.
Hmm.
I mean, that's like really the majority of the reason why I love this movie is because, I mean, everyone in this movie really carries this movie really well. Like, you would think like in a movie where it takes place in like one solitary place, it would start to get boring, but like the way they set it up, the way they like kind of have this air of mystery of, John Goodman's character, like, is he a good guy or is he like secretly a bad guy? Because, it kind of plays with there is stuff going on outside, but you're
Hmm.
not really sure if he's, telling the truth. And then you get to the end and you're like, well, he was kind of telling the truth, kind of lying, but then there's actually shit outside that she has to deal
Mm.
with. And that whole final act is so intense and so great, and I love it. And I know a lot of people bitch because they're like, "This has nothing to do with Cloverfield. Why would you call it 10 Cloverfield Lane?" And it's like, it kind of exists in the same universe,
For
you
sure.
know?
And I'll say this: I saw 10 Cloverfield Lane before I saw Cloverfield. Like I'd never jumped on board with Cloverfield when it came out, but I love Goodman and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. So when that flick came out, I'm like, I'll give it a go. And I was
Yeah.
like, and like, it's such a like some of my favorite stuff in cinema is when they're like, we're just gonna put two or three actors in one room and just make them do their thing. And like when
Yeah.
it's done well, it's just like like Ex Machina. There's more than one room, but it's kind of the same thing. The disappearance of Alice Creed. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but that one's quite like interesting as well. And
Mm.
then 10 Cloverfield Lane, just
Yeah.
perfect.
Well, and I love like Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character because you get like this woman who like kind of runs away from everything when stuff gets hard.
Mm,
And so when she's faced with this dilemma, she either has to like die or fight. And so she chooses to fight at the end of the movie. And she's just so smart. Like she designs a fucking like hazmat suit out of a fucking shower curtain.
mm,
It's like the shit that she does in this movie. She's so proactive. She's so smart. I just love her in this movie. Like, and I love all the other characters too. Like, I can't remember what the actor's name is, but he plays the other guy that gets trapped in there with them. And he's so funny. Like, there's the part where he's talking about like, what kind of tattoo would you want to get? Like, because he's talking about like missing out on things that he should have done when shit was still normal and stuff. And he's bringing up the idea about tattoos and stuff. He's like, I would get Emmett on my forehead right here. It's just so fun. Like some of the stuff he says is ridiculous. And I also like his arc as well because you find out that, he had won a scholarship to this college and then just never went because he never felt like he was going to be good enough past like the small town thing. So like you get like all these like different characters with a lot of personality.
mm,
Like you don't get a lot of John Goodman's backstory except for the fact that he's fucking a creep and a crazy person.
mm,
But like you almost do kind of feel for him a little bit in a sense because you're like, this guy's just kind of lonely. And maybe his daughter's dead, maybe she isn't. We don't really know for certain if she's actually dead. Um, but I just love all the characters. I love the movie as a whole. Like, there's really nothing wrong with this movie. I think the reason why it's my number 5 is just because there's sequels that I like better that are higher, and I don't
for sure.
like it. Like, it was so hard for me to make this list because I was like, oh, 10 Cloverfield Lane is so good, it should be higher. But then I'm like, no, there's other ones that I enjoy a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that being said, that's my number 5. So, do you
The
want to
guy
dive into?
the guy who
Oh,
plays
sorry.
Emmett is in Hush.
He is.
Um
Yeah, he's
which
fine too. I'd say you can break into my house any day you want to, boy. My door is unlocked. Come
You'll
in
keep the
whenever you want
headphones off
to.
as well, so you'll hear everything. You'll be fine.
Yeah. He's also in Underwater too,
I love
which is
Underwater
weird
too.
because it's like a similar kind of movie. Like people were speculating that it was going to be a Cloverfield movie at first, which I was like, I can totally see that.
I watched when I watched Underwater. I'm going on a tangent, but that's fine. I was like, oh, this is just Alien. Like it's
Yeah.
Alien, just instead of in space, it's underwater. Um,
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart's so underrated, man. She's great in that flick.
She
Uh,
is. And like I've seen her in a lot of other things that like, past her Twilight stuff, she's not the best in the Twilight movies. But there were other movies that I saw of her that I was like, she's actually a really good actress and she does not
mhm.
get the credit she deserves. So
I don't know if we've
but
talked about no the first time you were on the show, we talked about Happiest Season because she's great in that as well.
Yeah, she
Um,
play like she has they're in a they're like a lesbian couple and they go to
mm.
visit the other girl's family. Yeah, it's great.
And I remember, and this is, I don't know if we've talked about this, but I remember at the time I was like, I really loved their relationship. I think that's what I said. And then ever since I said that, I'm like, oh, I need to clarify this with Michael. I think they have a very, complicated relationship.
They
But I
have a
love
kind
that
of a
it's,
toxic relationship
yeah,
if I'm
but I
being
love that
real.
it's represented accurately on screen in as much as that, like, quite often when you see same-sex couples portrayed in movies and TV, it's very one-dimensional. And what
Mhm.
so yeah, in Happier Season, I think they play it very real. So that's a redaction from like almost a year ago now. I was like, oh, I got to clear that with Michael in case he thinks that I think that's a positive relationship. I
Yeah,
don't.
no, no. I got you. Don't worry.
um,
But
I'm so
what's
glad I
your
had the
number
opportunity
5?
to fix that up. My number 5. So these aren't in really any order. This is one you've actually mentioned on the show already, and it's Saw 3. I think Saw 3 is probably the best sequel. I haven't seen Saw X yet, so that might change. Um,
Yeah.
but I remember the first time I watched it, I was watching on DVD, Um, and all I remembered from the trailers was the guy with like the rings in his arms and his legs and his
Oh
mouth.
yeah.
And I was like, this is insane. What's it going to be? I think it's got some of the best kill set pieces, like the angel. Everyone likes the angel one.
The rack or the
The
angel, the rib
yeah,
cage one. Yeah.
yeah. The last time I watched it before this round, I watched it right before my daughter was born, actually, because I had a lot of free time, so I was like just going through the Saw films. And the last time I watched it was right before my daughter was born. I was like, man, this is a really mean spirited film. Like poor Jeff, like they're making him like destroy his kids' toys and stuff. Um, but then I watched it this time and I was like, you know what? Like Jeff does need to sack up a little bit. Like I'm not,
I
I'm
hate
not.
Jeff as a character. He's terrible. I fucking hate him.
Yeah, like I was like, man, like love your daughter. Like, come on, man. But I think like in terms of twists and into like this is the one I think that starts juggling multiple storylines. The first two are pretty kind of one or two storylines pretty easy to follow. This one
Yeah.
juggles a lot and has a lot of twists. I think it's the one that executes them the best. With the it turns out that the doctor is actually Jeff's wife, and how it all kind of ties into each other. They complicate it later by introducing Hoffman and Strom and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
it's got
Don't
some.
get me started on Hoffman. I
I know.
despise Hoffman, but keep going. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So I think it's got some of the most interesting traps. It's the first time that someone has to save someone from other traps.
Yeah.
And unlike later on, like I was watching four, and I was like, why is he putting this like horrible guy in this like trap that's going to pull him apart? Like he's a cop. He's got evidence. Why doesn't he just arrest him? Like why is he like just doing what Jigsaw told him to do? Like I don't even remember in
Oh,
four.
oh no, personally, I think all people like that, rapists, pedophiles, should be put in that kind of fucking
Oh,
machine
for
and
sure.
just yeah,
For,
I was not I was like, good for you.
Oh, I didn't disagree with it, but I'm like, for a guy
Oh,
who's meant to be for the guy who's following the book so closely, he's meant to be like a really good police officer. He just rushes into things too quickly. I was like,
right.
why isn't he being a cop here? Like, why is he falling for this? Whereas in three, like, I felt like the choice to save them all like made a lot more sense. It was kind of really played with his guilt and the trauma he'd gone through. So I think it's really quite a smart sequel.
Yeah.
As I said, quite brutal. Like that face blowing off at the end. Like every single time I know it's coming, I always tense up because it's
Mhm.
pretty gross. Um, I think
And I also
maybe.
think oh,
Go
sorry.
on. No,
Go
no,
on.
go.
No, 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 you go.
I was gonna say. I think Shawnee Smith's performance is kind of are on a bit of a like on a bit. How do I say it? They're on a bit of like a sliding scale in these movies. Sometimes she's quite she keeps it quite down, but other times she plays it quite big. And I think this movie
Yeah.
she gets the balance quite right. She does it quite well in this one because she has a lot to do
Yeah.
in this movie. Like in the first one,
Yeah.
she's only in a scene or two. The second one, she's in quite a bit, but she's bouncing off seven other people. This one,
Yeah.
she's almost a co-lead, and I think she walks that line really well. Um, yeah, I think it's really well done. And again, like you get to see more of John Kramer, and like he's I'm really glad the director or the writer or whatever came out recently and said we killed him off way too soon. We should have kept him alive because he's the strongest part. And that's why they did what they did with Saw X and made it between one and two. Because
Yeah.
yeah, like my favorite parts of those movies going back again is just watching his scenes, like seeing him like because I actually the older I get, the more I watch it, I care less and less about the traps. I just want to know more about the guy behind the traps. Like that's what's the most
Yeah.
fascinating thing. So I think three is really well executed. It's violent without being over the top. It might have one of the most brutal kills at the end, but it's still. I wouldn't even. Some people might say torture porn. I don't think the torture porn starts until like four. I actually think
Yeah.
the first two are quite reserved, and three has some stuff, but I don't think three is too extreme. Um, and also, like, I don't care what anyone says. That judge had the worst one where he had like moldy pig guts. Like so sickening.
Oh
Like that's the
my
worst one, and he
god,
lived
yeah.
through it.
Mhm.
Like I'm watching that, I'm like, why isn't he throwing up? Like he should be throwing up in that vat because that's disgusting.
Oh, it's so gross. It turns my stomach, and, like, that's
Mm.
the kinda shit that grosses me out, like, it's not blood stuff, it's more like that kinda shit that I'm like, "No."
Mm.
Um, but, yeah, I actually also have Saw 3 as my number 4, but I kinda cheated a little bit because I
Mm.
put Saw 2 and 3 on my list.
That's fine. We can talk about Saw 2. And you can talk about Saw 3 as well for sure.
Okay. Were you done talking about Saw? I'm sorry. I didn't
No, no,
I
like
hope
we talked about Saw a lot up front, so we covered a lot of that in
that's
then.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like all of the films. So I actually don't think some are definitely better than others and some are definitely weaker than others, but as a franchise I think it's tries to be interesting throughout, tries to do different things all the time. But I think
Yeah.
3 is the peak, and I didn't realize I felt that way until this time around. I'm like, oh, this is really where, yeah, it really kind of hits its stride. So,
Like the first 3 movies I feel like are pretty strong, and then we get into like the other movies where it's kinda like it's either hit or miss for me. Like
mm.
I really love 6. 6 is probably in my top 4 for sure.
6 is really good. My only problem with so I liked in Saw 3, again, this is a success with Saw 3 and maybe a weakness with other ones, is that Amanda doesn't get it. So she makes traps that people can't get out of, which is
Yeah.
great. Like I like that because she's flawed. But then like every one of John Kramer's lackeys follows that same pattern. Like traps are unwinnable, or like there are people in there who probably shouldn't be in there. Like so in Saw 6, whilst it's great,
Hoffman.
yeah. But like in
Hoffman
Saw,
should have died in the bear trap, reverse bear trap, not or reverse, bear trap? Bear
yeah,
trap,
reverse
yeah.
bear trap. In
It shouldn't have been Jill, it should have been him, sorry.
Yeah. Saw 6, we get all these people that I can't remember, that William works with, but most of
Yeah.
them were innocent. Like the guy who was like a smoker, like okay, yeah, like he had been smoking his whole life, but it wasn't like he was a murderer or anything, or like
Yeah.
or hurting other people, he was just hurting himself. Like why did he have to die? So that's one of the things with the film, the franchise I don't like so much, where people who probably shouldn't be in saw traps get put into them. Um,
Yeah, like, whatever his wife's name is, the one that dies in Saw 3D where she gets fucking cooked alive inside
oh,
that oven. I'm like, "She did not deserve that."
everyone else did, but she didn't.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and also I read something. I thought it was so funny where like, because he does the trap, he puts them in his pectorals, and someone
Yeah.
wrote, "He's got jeans on. Why didn't he put those hooks in his jean loops?" And
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh my god, what a like whether like that was an oversight by the script or just an oversight by that stupid character, like what a horrifying revelation."
Yeah.
Like I would just love
Seriously.
for like someone to tap him on the shoulder, be like, "Hey, if you had just put them in those jeans, your wife would be alive." Like, oh no. Yeah, she
Yeah.
maybe is the biggest victim of all the movies. Oof, that's rough.
Between her and Lynn, the doctor from 3, neither one of
Yeah.
those women deserved any of that, but, you know. It's it is what it is, but I also really love Saw 3.
Mm,
Since we're still on the subject of Saw 3, I'll talk about that one first. I really love how memorable the traps are. I think these are probably the most memorable traps we've had in any single Saw movie,
hmm
just because it's like I feel like anytime somebody talks about like the traps in Saw, like the Saw franchise, I feel like people immediately think of like 3 with like the angel trap,
mm,
the rack trap, which is insanely brutal. Like fuck that, just kill me now.
mm,
You know, and it's visually, like, very striking, like, I can imagine that one shot of him going into the freezer room, and it just shows the woman that's, like, up like this, and it's, like, a slow, like, zoom in shot, and just, like, looks very cinematic, like, I
mm.
think of all the Saw movies, this one, like, really tries to be really cinematic and stuff, and I love that, and I love Amanda in this one. I just love Amanda. It makes me sad that they killed her off just as soon as they did with, John Kramer, but
Yeah.
you win some, you lose some. At least they were in this newest movie. So I think you'll really like the story development in Saw 10
I've
because it
heard
is
like that's the
so
best part of
good.
it. And I've heard
It's
that
so
like for
good.
the first hour, there's almost no traps. It's just all character development, which I'm here
Yep.
for. Like as I said, as I get older, I'd care more about that than the traps. But I think the one flaw with the Saw films, it's not a flaw, it's an insurance policy, is I feel like after the first movie, they're like, look, we may never make another one of these, so let's just like tie up any loose ends just in case, and then we can always retcon it if we have to, and that's why you get John Kramer and Amanda killed in 3 because like, look, we might not get a fourth one, and then they did get a
Yeah.
fourth one. It's like flashback time, and then we have to like, and I'll say this because I know that people think that like all the retconning is kind of crazy and ridiculous, and it is. It is. But I think they do not a bad job considering how much they have to like unwind and like tell through reverse storytelling. Like that is not an easy job to do. I don't envy them. So I think considering they do a pretty good job. But I
Yeah.
agree with you about how iconic that third one is because like as I said, I just watched them all the other day. I was sick home from work, so I was like, I'll watch the Saw films.
Yeah.
Like I 4, 5, and 6 all blend into one for me. Well, 4 and 5 in particularly blend into one. 6 has a few iconic things, but like I couldn't like kind of tell you what Hoffman was doing in which film. Like he's just always on the run doing weird
He's just
things.
doing a whole lot of fucking nothing except being an infuriating character that shouldn't have been able to be allowed to be in the last 4 movies. Like, that's just insane to me. Like, of all the fucking characters you decide to keep for, like, 4 movies, you decide to keep Hoffman. Like, what the
Mm.
fuck? He's,
Well,
like, literally.
you know what it was? Because it was meant to be Dr. Gordon, but then like there was this whole like legal dispute where he wasn't getting money from the studio, whatever, so he wasn't coming back for sequels, and it wasn't until like 7 where that all finally got sorted out, and then he came back because, and then
Yeah.
you kind of then they're like he was there all along, we just didn't see him. It's like like
He was the one that was doing surgery on the guy at the beginning of Saw 2. He was there for all of it's like, oh
mm.
lord. I think that's what I have the problem with. Is there's so many fucking apprentices. It starts to get to the point where it's like it's just fucking
Can they call the next one the
ridiculous.
Sorcerer's Apprentice and just do a terrible pun title?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, we found
Saw
out the title of this episode. The
Saw
Sorcerer's
10, the 10 this would be the actual title for Saw 10. Saw 10, the 10 apprentices of Jigsaw. To just be like one fucking thing,
I'm
but
writing that down now because I love that stupid pun.
yeah. As far as Saw 2 goes, like I really, really, really love Saw 2 so much. It's held up very well. The whole house being a complete like
Mm,
an entire is so cool. Like all the rooms that they go into. But most importantly, like it's not even the traps that I like the most. It's the whole like storyline between um the detective and Jigsaw where they're talking to each other.
yeah.
Like that intrigues me so much because like Matthews is like such a piece of shit. I'm so sorry. Like he's such an asshole and such a piece of shit and such a scummy cop. Like so he gets what he deserves in the end, and I'm not sad about it at all. Like I don't feel bad about that.
Mm,
But like you get like this really good like you get this really good backstory with John and like like he talks about what made him want to start this work and all like you just get so much information from the second movie that you didn't
mm.
really get in the first movie because he's literally only in one scene where he stands up and leaves the room and like that's like oh okay, which is a cool twist, but I'm like it hasn't aged well for me personally because I'm like really you just laid there for like 12 or so hours like
Yeah, and like it's so funny. Like when I was 16, like him saying "game over" was badass, but now as a 34-year-old man, I'm like that hasn't aged well. Like,
game over.
yeah,
Yeah, he's like
that, yeah.
game
Uh,
over. Yeah. um I really love too so much like
yeah.
there's such a dynamic that I feel like you don't get in the other movies. Like I feel like this movie is so unique and is like so set apart from the other films because like you get like such a dynamic set of characters. Like all these people are like criminals. So and they're in here like the twist you find out that he is like the cop that put them all away on false charges because he was trying to get convictions. And then
Mm.
you find out that his son is playing this game with all these other dangerous people. So like that ups the stakes too. I think the only thing I have an issue with Saw 2 is like it's a matter of convenience because it's like so the whole plan at the beginning was to have his son Daniel survive this ordeal, but anything could have happened at any time. Daniel could have been killed by any one of these people, and he actually almost does fucking get killed by the Xavier guy when he's like chasing them around the house. It's like, so did you guys plan this? Like, so what happens if Daniel dies? Then your whole plan falls apart. Like, it's just kind of
Mm.
like I think about that whenever I watch Saw 2. I'm like, this is awfully convenient that everything seems to work out exactly the way they wanted it to. Like, it just feels like
Does
really unrealistic to me
I
because it's like
I
he
did
could
just
have
watch
died.
it. I did just watch it, but I can't remember. Does Daniel ever cough up blood, or is he
Yeah,
okay?
he
Yeah,
does.
so I couldn't remember if
When
he
they're
had the
in
answer because they do retcon it again later in like 4 or 5, where Hoffman's like, so Amanda's gonna like make everything work, and he's like, no, she's just there to make sure things go according to plan or whatever. And I was like, that was a rewrite they popped in because like, obviously there were questions about too.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that's my only, like, gripe with Saw 2 is, like, everything else is really great, but it just has never made sense to me how this whole thing just conveniently works out the way it does because anything could have gone wrong at any time. Like, Daniel could have just been killed by
Mm,
either someone else in the house or the nerve gas could have killed him. So it's just, like it's just convenient, and then but I do love the twist. This is probably the best twist in the entire franchise. The whole fact that, like, Well, that's another thing that kind of bothers me too. I'm like, so they literally have the money and the time to make a duplicate house that looks exactly like the one that the actual people are in. Because when the SWAT team goes to the wrong house, it's literally a duplicate of the same house. So it's like, how? Like, how are you doing this? You're like 70 years old, Jigsaw. How the fuck are you pulling this shit off?
Yeah, that was another retcon later where it turns out he owned a lot of properties. But
Yeah.
also, like there is that scene where they find out that the security footage was pre-recorded. So it's like you
Yeah.
didn't need a duplicate house. You could have just had the same house.
Yeah.
Like,
What was the point of the duplicate house? Except for
like it's
just
because
this.
it's cool. Like it's a cool twist in the moment in the theater. Like, oh my god, like what a mastermind! It's not until you kind of leave the theater, stop and think back. You're like, hang on,
Well,
some of this is
actually, it just occurred to me. I know why they did a duplicate house so that the SWAT team would be sent to the wrong house and Eric would be sent to the actual house so that
that's
they
right.
could lock him in the basement room. Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's fine. We can whatever. It's just like little nitpicky things about the second one. And I think that's why it's probably so low on my list. It's a number 4, but Saw 2 and 3 and now Saw 10 I think are my top 3 for sure. And
Nice.
I could interswitch them at any time, but
Yeah.
honestly, the first 2, like 2 and 3 are literally the most solid movies of the franchise, and then you got Saw 10, which is just a masterpiece. So, anyway, sorry.
No, all good. I'm just like we are still on our first list, and we've done
I
5
know.
and 1 of 4. We got so much to do.
I know.
It's okay.
Alright,
It's all good. Like
so what
worst
is
case
your
scenario, we'll take a nap break and we'll come back. Um,
yeah, we'll just take a nap and reconvene later. So what's your number 3,
no,
James?
I've got to do my number 4 still.
Oh, I thought number 4 was Saw 2 and 3.
Those were your number 4. Saw 2 and
Oh,
Saw
okay. I'm
3 was
so
my number 5.
sorry.
That's okay. My number 4 is also in the world of torture porn. I hate that name, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
that's the best we come up with. Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's fine. It's the last on my list of all my lists to go into that genre, and it's Hostel Part 2. Um, I
Yeah.
remember when Hostel 1 came out, and again I would have been like 17 or 18 at the time. I was like, oh my god, it's so extreme. Turns out, don't need things to be extreme all the time.
Yeah.
And because there's only so many times you can watch a film where someone gets their eyeball burst open in a graphic way. But Hostel 2 I really liked because I've heard people say that I've heard some people criticize it because they're like Hostel 1, they flipped the switch and made men the victims, and then Hostel 2, they changed everything, made women the victims, like every other horror film. But I disagree because your female characters are very empowered in this film, and while
Mhm.
some of them do get killed, I think it's a really strong feminist take on on an abduction horror, and like not a lot of nasty things happen to them. Like yes, some of them do get killed and some of them get spoken to away, but it's not down the road of Last House on the Left or I Spit on Your Grave. Like there's a
Yeah.
chance for them to kind of be empowered. The kills are brutal, but they're not disgusting. You don't have to cover your eyes or like wash your brain afterwards.
Oh,
I
I don't
think
know. There's one scene in there that it like and I don't know, I think it's more of the sound design. It's when she's in the bath and she's hung upside down and the girl's taking the scythe and she's scraping the sound of her scraping
yeah,
against her skin on her back and it's like, "Oh, I hate it. I hate the
for
way that
sure.
sounds."
For
Yeah.
sure, but I would say like it's still pretty tame compared to anything that happened in the first Hostel. Um,
Yeah.
I think all the girls in particular are quite good. Like you get like all pretty good performances and stuff like that. Um,
Sorry, I just have to say something real quick. I always find it super random and super funny
Princess Diaries,
that the girl from Princess Diaries is in this movie. I'm like, I get
and
it
appears
because like
naked. Like it's such a weird. Like
it's so weird. Like I remember watching it the first time like a really long time ago. I was like, is that Anne Hathaway's best friend from Princess Diaries? What the fuck is she doing in a movie
yeah,
like this?
yeah, absolutely. Um, but no, I think it builds on like the lore of the original one. But then you also have that fantastic, like you got the side plot with the two like dudes. You got the really alpha guys, like yeah, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then like he can't stomach it, and then like his sheepish friend like ends up being a real psychopath and decides he's gonna
Mm,
like take it all out. And then you get that great moment where she like lets him bleed out, and she has to sign up to be part of the hunting club as well. Like
let him bleed to death.
yeah, like such a badass moment. Like I just think like if you're gonna watch a Hostel movie, this is the one you can play stomach a lot more than the first one, and it's really satisfying. Like I think it's a really satisfying
Yeah.
like torture film. I don't think it's too torturous. And everyone I speak to about it disagrees with me. So like, but I just think
Yeah.
I think Eli Roth, he goes in for shock value a lot, and I know he's a very divisive director because he kind of goes in for like just that extreme, yeah, like kind of disgusting type horror. Like Cabin Fever is a really gross film. I like it a lot, but it is a really
Yeah.
gross movie. And Hostel follows suit there. But then with Hostel 2, I feel like he really kind of reined himself in and like didn't let himself go too crazy with it. He was like, you know what, I've built my universe. I can slow down a little bit. I can take my time, do some more character development. Because one thing I will say is that whilst we spend a lot of time with the characters in the first one, I think they're kind of one dimensional. Like they're just dudes trying to get laid, really, like
Yeah.
for the most part. Like, that's about it. So it's like, yeah, you flip the script, but they're not really doing anything other than trying to get laid, which could happen in
Mm,
any other teen movie that came out this summer. Whereas in this,
yeah.
it's more about the girls trying to get away and like kind of learn about themselves and take a break from reality and like I don't know. I just feel like I think it's a better made film with a better story and it's
Yeah.
easier to stomach. So Hostel 2 is my number 4.
Very
Again, these
nice.
aren't really ranked, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is one thing I disagree with you about with Hostel 2. I think Hostel 2 is the harder one to stomach, and not because of the gore or anything. Like the gore I can handle. It's just because you like these characters more. Like you like these women. You don't like the guys in the first one. They're fucking
Mm,
douchebags. I'm pretty sure they're like homophobic and shit. Like they say like certain comments in the first movie that
yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm happy that you guys die. I'm happy
Mm,
that all of you fucking get killed the way you get killed. But in the second movie, like you have these like girls that like you actually like have time with before
that is
shit
true.
starts going down. And so for me, it's harder for me to watch Hostel 2 for that reason because I'm like, I don't want to see any of these characters like get
Yeah,
killed in brutal ways. Like they don't deserve it. None of them do. And like I do think it's interesting, like with Hostel 2, like you get the whole like plot of like these people actually buying these like women off the internet, which is
mm,
scary because I feel like that actually does
yeah,
fucking happen.
for sure.
Um, and, like, I really loved that you brought up the 2 men that are in this movie too, because, like, I like how they play, like, the reversal card where the guy, like, the macho guy's like, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it," and then when, like, push comes to shove, he goes to do it, and then he's like, "I can't do it," and then the other guy that's, like, not as, like, gung ho about it, that's been doubting it this entire movie, he ends up being like, "Oh, fucking," like, he's a psycho.
Yeah.
So, I like the play that he did on that, that was, like, really interesting, and I do think Hostel 2 is the best one that we've gotten, like,
Yeah, the less said
it's
about 3, the better. I mean, I know I'm positive on this show, but 3, like, and to be fair, Eli had nothing to do with that one. But
yeah.
yeah, um,
I actually don't think 3 is that bad. I thought it was kind of a fun concept to move it somewhere else that wasn't, like, Romania or Slovakia or where the
oh, I
fuck they
like the
were.
idea. I like the idea of it. I just didn't think the execution was quite there. If I remember, there's not a lot of
Yeah.
gore in it. I think I think they cut away from a lot of stuff, which I can't remember
It's
now.
I mean, it's pretty gore like, there's some parts that are pretty gory, like, the one guy gets his face fucking peeled off,
I have to go back and give another go. I've got it. Like I
yeah.
bought the box set, so I've got it. So um, before we move on from Hostel, I just remembered there are 2 quotes in the first Hostel film that I always like. They follow me around, like not on my day to day, but they're pretty regular rotation. The first one is that Oli, the older guy from Iceland, he's always like, "Of course, my horse." I rock that one quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's when they're driving in for the first time, there's the cab driver. He's just like, "Here we make plastic for Slovakia." So like whenever Slovakia comes up on a map or whatever, I always just make that quote. No one in my family has seen that movie, but I'm always just like, "Here we make plastic for Slovakia."
And they're like,
Um,
"What are you talking
yeah,
about?"
I'm like, that's from this wonderful fairy tale. You guys should check this out.
Yeah.
Uh, like, look, it's not
Oh,
like I
man.
can't recommend that first one to anyone, but the second one I can recommend. Like I agree with you. You like those characters a lot more, so it is hard to see them go. But in terms of the gore and stuff, it's a lot more palatable.
It's pretty tame, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, except for the whole bathroom scene, that scene's pretty fucking gnarly. When she's
yeah.
just like she's like bathing in her fucking blood. She's like, "Okay, Miss Elizabeth Bathory."
But that's exactly what it's meant to be, isn't it? Oh, then there's also
Yeah.
the bit where she bites off the woman's nose. That's pretty full on.
Oh,
The
yeah.
makeup
Ugh.
lady. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
you know what, guys? I've changed my mind. It's pretty brutal. But
Yeah.
it's a good movie.
Well,
Um,
when she cuts his fucking dick and balls off too, that looks pretty gnarly too, because it shows it. Like it shows everything.
I remember I was watching the special features on the DVD when it came out, and Eli Roth was like, "We went to the prosthetics guys and like, look, can you make it look a good size for it. And we're like, we don't know what it really looks like, but like, let's not do it. Let's make sure it's a decent size,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty funny.
Well, and I love the line that he says to her right before she does it. He's like, "You're a stupid fucking cunt," and she's like, "What did you just say?"
Yeah, well,
And
that's
then
a
he's
callback because they call her that earlier on the train as well. That's one of the scariest moments for me in that movie is on the train where the dude's like following them to. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and they go into the room and the one girl from Princess Diaries is on the floor because she fucking got, like, assaulted.
mm.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Um, but, we ready to move on to my
That's
number
the last
3?
gnarly film on all of my lists. So let's go into something maybe more pleasant. We'll find out. Number 3 on your list of sequels, not remakes. We haven't got to remakes yet.
So again, I kind of cheated and I put 2 movies on this list, but they're both sequels to the same franchise. So, I don't know if you have any guesses as to what you think it
I
is?
feel like Scream 4 is coming up. No,
I actually forgot about Scream 4.
that was one of the ones. That's one of the ones I thought you were going to mention.
What am I doing with my life? I'm evaluating my life right now. I cannot believe I forgot that. I cannot believe I forgot that movie and Final Destination 3. Neither one of those are on my list.
That's oh well.
Stupid. Okay, it's
They're
fine.
honorable
We're
mentions.
fine. Yeah, they're honorable mentions, guys, even though Scream 4 would definitely be on the list if I would have remembered it. Anyway, um this next one is going to be very controversial and I'm probably going to have people like be like don't ever have him on your show again. But I mean, I will defend this movie till the day I die. So, Halloween 2 from 1981 and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 are my number 3. Um and
What
I
a
like I said,
great pick.
yeah. And like I said, this is the hill that I'm going to die on apparently because I'm on a very small island with this that actually like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And you know that I actually love it because I used to hate it. I used to be in the
Yeah,
majority with this movie. I fucking hated this movie when it first came out because I said, what a disgrace to John Carpenter's legacy. Like, how dare they do what they did? Like, all the shit that I was like not happy about. And then I grew up a little bit and I was like, you know what? I appreciate that Rob Zombie was going for something completely different than he's ever done. Like,
hmm
I mean, this is like when I think about the Halloween movies, this one stands out to me as the most unique and the most different because I feel like all of them, the other movies, they don't necessarily follow a similar plot per se, but a lot of them kind of like involve Michael chasing down people, members of his family, and it does kind of get a little bit, dry towards like the end of like the latter end of the, franchise, like when we get into like Halloween 5 and 6. And, H2O is one of my favorite movies of the franchise as well. Um, but then you have Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2, and I just feel like what he did with those first 2 like those movies were so different, you know?
Well, I
Um,
remember I actually rewatched them this year, and for the longest time, I was in the same camp. I loved, well, slightly different to your camp, but I loved 2007. I was like, this is incredible. It's so brutal. What a great take on it. And two, I was like, what is this? I rewatched them both
yeah,
this year, and I find that the more I watch the first one, the less I like it because it's
same.
very mean spirited, and especially after watching those David Gordon Green ones, for whatever, however you feel about those films, one thing they really focus on, especially in the first couple, is the Michael Laurie dynamic. Whereas with
Yeah.
Rob Zombie's films, that first one is just Michael. Like Laurie doesn't show up until almost an hour in. Um,
Yeah.
but the
And then it kind
second,
of falls into like the paint by numbers, the original Halloween. Like it
mm,
kind of follows beat by beat almost in a sense, like with certain things. And yeah. Anyway,
for sure.
sorry.
But then I watched part two this year, and for the first time since ever watching, I was like, oh, this is kind of genius. I was like, this is a Laurie film. It's about trauma. Now, I'm not an idiot. They did address trauma previously with Jamie, like in her second one, they did like a childhood trauma movie. Like it didn't quite pull out all the stops, but they did try this. But it's like,
Yeah.
oh, they're dealing with the trauma of realizing that you're related to this psychopath and how that would affect you and how it would
Yeah.
affect the relationships closest to you. And I guess if that did happen to you, you wouldn't care what people think, and you wouldn't want to like the people you love, like those relationships would be so different and augmented, and even like Loomis is so unlikable in the second one,
Yeah.
like so unlikable. But it's like, where else can you go? Like he's like a saint in all those other movies. You need to make him
Yeah.
interesting. Um, and
And I want it sizzling hot.
yeah, I
Sorry
mean,
about the
look,
cut.
he's Malcolm McDowell's just incredible. He's so good.
Yeah.
Like no one else could have sold that role. Like he's so good. And then even the one thing I hated the first time I saw it was like, oh, we see Michael's face and he talks, but
Yeah.
like looking back, I'm like, you know what? Like ain't been done before or since. Like
Yeah.
swinging for the fences, zombie. So full credit. Yeah. So I actually am now. I think the sequel is better than the original. Like the Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is better than his first one. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I will defend this movie till the day I die because I mean, coming from me, who's someone who used to like, I went full circle with this movie. I had a journey with this fucking movie because when it
Mm,
first came out, I despised it. I hated everything about it. I thought Laurie was fucking whiny as fuck. I thought, you know, Michael looking like a hobo during the majority of the movie. I was like, "What is this shit?" And
mm,
now now that I've gotten older and like I've watched it a lot, I've really grown to appreciate and love what Rob Zombie did with this movie. Um, like I love this. I think Michael Myers is the scariest that he's ever been.
mm.
Even more so than him in Halloween Kills or the David Gordon Green trilogy. I still think Rob Zombie's Michael Myers is still the scariest. Like he's the most brutal of all the Michael Myers that I would come in contact with. He's the last one I'd want to deal with because
Yeah.
he's so mindlessly brutal in this one. Like you get the hospital scene where he just obliterates that nurse, which is like
Yeah.
such a fucking great scene.
Yeah.
The scene is so good. Um, and like he's just brutal. But I also like love you brought it up. You brought the trauma aspect of this movie up, and I really love that we get a side of Laurie that we've never seen in any of the other movies. Do I really enjoy like the epileptic flashbacks that she has or whatever where she's like, "Die, you fucking bitch. You fucking," like I don't know if I like that very much because that's just like typical Rob Zombie, like try to put flashy shit in his movie just to, but I also understand it because it's like she's gone through some like really fucked up shit. So
Mm.
I can't imagine what's going on in her mind. So I love it and hate it. Those like kind of scenes where she has like the flashbacks, but I also just think it's, like, so interesting because we get such, like, a look of what Laurie has been through, and we kinda get that with, like, the David Gordon Green trilogy with, like, Halloween H2O. It's 20 years later, so, like, obviously, like, we still see the PTSD and it's affecting her, but we never get, like, her reacting to finding out she's Michael's sister. We get that
Mm.
in Rob Zombie's movie, and it's so good because this is the first and only time that we've ever gotten that in the franchise. So I just think
Yeah.
it's so unique, and like I said, I will talk highly about this movie till the day I die. And a lot of people, I'm sure, do not agree. I'm sure there's people that are clicking off this episode right now. I apologize for that. But it's just like this movie to me is a masterpiece and I love it.
I just love that we can take movies that people hate and like find something positive about them. And I'm not doing it like some people. You see people do that online sometimes, and like it's just to be contrarian, and like that's
Yeah.
not what we're doing. It's like no, no, no. Like you understand. Like I love this. It's like me trying to like me defending like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze. Like that is objectively a bad movie. But I was a kid when I watched that. I'm like, no, no, no. There are so many good moments in this, and here's why it's great. It's bad, but it's
Yeah.
also great. And same with the like yeah, like this is not. This is pretty far from a Halloween film like this one. Like it does a lot of things that you wouldn't see in a Halloween, what you expect from a Halloween film. But I think, yeah, he just played it differently, and I think was very ahead of its time because it took me
Yeah.
over 10 years to come to terms with it and realize that it's a masterpiece. Like,
Yeah.
um, and like I'm not proving anything by liking it because everyone else is like, oh, you like that? Well, it sucks, and you're wrong. So I'm not like
Yeah.
winning any arguments there. But no, I think it's wonderful. I'm so glad it's on your list.
Yeah. I just have so many good things to say about it. Like I, and I actually love Laurie in the second movie. Like she's kind of a hard pill to swallow because she kind of like treats Annie like shit. Like every time her and Annie have a conversation with each other, it ends up in like a fucking screaming match, and she's like, "Fuck you," blah blah
Mm,
blah. But it's like I kind of get it. Like I've never been through trauma like she has, but it feels like a realistic portrayal. Like it just feels like she's just flipping a switch. She doesn't really have control over some of the stuff that she says or does. So it's like I understand it. Like I do. Um,
Yeah, and it's also her strongest connection to that night. Like, and I don't care
yeah,
how good a friend you are. Like, if the most horrible thing that ever happened to your life was that, and the only connection, the only reminder you have of that night every day is the person in the house with you, it's like, yeah, that'd be tough to deal with. Like, that's not like an easy thing. Like, that friendship
yeah,
might have to go away. And maybe if Laurie had of, I mean, Michael's going to do what he's going to do, but maybe if Laurie had have been able to process that sooner, like maybe she could have spared the brackets, like by moving out.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's tough. And she does this interesting thing, like Scout Taylor Compton, I think that's her name, who
I
plays
love
Laurie.
her.
So
Yeah,
good. You can really see her trying to emulate Sherry Moon Zombie, like some of those, like, especially when she gets to like certain things, like it's just like since she didn't need to do, she could have totally just done her own thing, but like to kind of mimic that performance in a way, be like, oh yeah, like you can still see that, yeah, like that they're related. You can see that like
yeah,
that's her mother and stuff like that. Like just a cool little touch there, and probably came
yeah,
from Rob Zombie as well. Like say we will, the guy has attention to detail when it comes to his flicks. Like I remember watching a documentary on the first Halloween film, and he went into like they were like in the basement set where Michael gets the mask for the first time in 20 years, whatever. And is
yeah.
like that. He's like those floorboards aren't dusty enough. Like they need to look old and destroyed. Like we need to get the props guys back in here and fix this. I'm like, you know what? The guy's got attention to detail. He loves his
No,
craft.
and
So
I love that. Like, I
yeah,
love his attention to detail, and what you were just saying about Scout Taylor Compton kind of channeling, Sherry Moon is like, she looks like what Sherry Moon Zombie looks like in, Lords of Salem with the freaking, like, dready type
yeah,
hair.
yeah.
That's what I think of every time I see Halloween 2. I'm like, "Oh, she's, like, portraying, Sherry Moon Zombie in Lords of Salem." Um, but, yeah, no, I love this movie so much, and it's like, it's so I don't know. I have nothing bad to say. Oh, well, I do have a couple of bad things. First of all, I hate the conversation that the two coroners have in the beginning of the movie where they're talking about fucking corpses. I
Oh
fucking hate
yeah,
that. I'm
yeah.
like, was that necessary, Rob? Do you really
It's
have
a
to
it's a Rob
insert?
Zombie staple. Like it's the guy who's in all these films who's always having those
Oh, he's
conversations. And
such a fucking creep. Like,
oh,
he's in
except for Devil's
31
Rejects. In
too.
Devil's Rejects, he's a nice guy. Like he's a victim in Devil's Rejects. But yeah, like
Yeah.
he's often playing like in like 31. He was like one of like the weird clown guys as well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And another thing, I don't like Sherry Moon Zombie's acting in this movie very much. It's not her strongest role. Like when she's like, Halloween is coming. You have to be ready. It's, like,
Yeah.
so bad. Like, she literally sounds like she's reading a fucking, like, I don't know, a I don't know, a fucking dental drill, something. It just sounds like she's in pain the entire time she's talking. Like, she's just like, "We're ready. We're ready
It
for it." Like, she just plays this, like, character that I'm just like, it doesn't work. Like, I appreciate the choice. Like, you're trying to be like a ghost, so maybe you, like, feel like you had to ham it up a little bit, but I think her acting in the first one is really good. Like, it feels
yeah.
real. And then in this one, it just feels like she's playing a caricature instead of a character, and it's just so weird to me. Like, it
Well, the other
just
thing with this flick, which is really interesting, is that Rob Zombie never planned on making a sequel. He was like, no, no, look, I'm doing one movie. I'm doing this
yeah,
the one 2000. That's it, and I don't want a sequel. And then Miramax, or which I think was Miramax, was like, well, we're going to do a sequel whether you wanted to be a part of it or not. And she was like, fine. Well, I'm going to write a movie so that way, like, they don't see, so, I can tell my story. And I think he
yeah,
kind of went at it in a way to make sure it couldn't be. Yeah, in fact, he killed Michael, so they couldn't make a sequel. Killed Michael and Laurie, so it's like, okay, make a
yep.
sequel.
And
Like,
it worked because we still haven't gotten a Rob Zombie movie since then, so
yeah. And I remember, and this might have killed it, but I remember around the time before, it was right around the time before Halloween 2 came out, Rob Zombie was announced to be working on a remake of The Blob. And I was like, oh my
mhm.
God, this is going to be incredible. And I think Halloween 2 killed those chances, which is a shame because I would have loved to have
Yeah.
seen like The Blob by Rob Zombie, by Blob Zombie. That's what they should have called it.
Yeah, like, if I
Full of,
ever meet Rob if oh, sorry.
no,
What?
no, go, go, go. It's all good. I'm just being
I
dumb.
was just gonna say, if I ever meet Rob Zombie in person, I'm gonna tell him how much I fucking love and appreciate Halloween 2. I think he'd love to hear that because 'cause I'm sure he probably doesn't hear that very often. I
Yeah, for
hate to
sure.
say it, it makes me sad, but I feel like most people fucking despise the second movie, and I'm like, I can understand because I used to be one of those people, but, like, at this point in time in my life now, I'm like, I don't understand the hate that this movie gets because if you actually sit down and watch it with an open mind and, like, actually, like, think about what you're watching, it's so much more than just, I mean, it's very gory. Like, it's definitely more gory than the first one. Like, you have some very brutal scenes in this movie, but
Mm.
it's not about the gore. Like,
No,
it's
it's the
more so about,
storytelling.
like, yeah, it's more about, like, Michael and Laurie. And, like, I think it's cool how it switched back and forth between, like, their state of minds where they're seeing visions of, like, the same stuff. So it's like, it also kind of makes them definitely, like, more related.
For
Like,
sure.
you can buy that they're related because they're kinda going through the same thing.
Mm.
Um, But I'm sorry, I talked about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 for too long, and I haven't even talked about the 1981 version. So I'm gonna hop into that really quick. But
Do it,
um,
absolutely. I've only
what
seen
I
this
love,
one once. I don't have much of a memory of it, so I'll let you just take the wheel on this one.
okay, well, I really love Halloween 2 from 1981. It's like, and I think it's my second favorite. I'm trying to remember if it's H2O that comes right after the original or if it's Halloween 2. I think it's H2O, but I'm not sure. But I love Halloween 2, and I know that originally or not Rob Zombie, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill wanted nothing to do with any of the movies after the first one. So, I mean, they were kind of, I mean, it's a different director, but or I keep wanting to say Rob Zombie now.
Mm,
John Carpenter, had a lot of like creative control and stuff. So this movie definitely plays out of more of a slasher as opposed to the original one where it's just mostly suspenseful. You don't see a lot of blood, if any at all. Um, and like in the second one, it's definitely a straight. It's like literally like I know what you did last summer, and I still know what you did last summer. It's like
mm,
those two I compare a lot because I'm like, yeah, they're definitely different movies in that aspect because the first one relied on its suspense, the second one relied more on like bloody, gory kills, and I just love the fact that like I can watch Halloween 1 and 2 back to back and it feels like the same movie. Even though it was made like 4 years after the first one was made, it still feels like the same night. Like it looks like aesthetically it looks literally like the original Halloween.
mm.
Like it I don't know how they did it so well, but I watch Halloween 1 and 2 and it doesn't even feel like I watched two different movies. Like it's just so flawless to me. I think I will say the only thing I don't like about Halloween 2, there's a couple of things. I don't like Laurie in this one very much because she kind of just is like in a hospital bed the whole time. Like she like literally like the majority of the film up until you get to the chase scene with her and Michael, she's literally in a hospital bed the entire movie. And while you do get like backstory about like she finds out who was after her and like killed her friends and stuff, like she finds out that it was Michael Myers. I think that is all really good. I like Jimmy, like the paramedic, the guy that's like flirting with her the whole movie. Like he's cool. Um, but like I just feel like it lingers too long of her like being in a hospital bed. Like I think like
Mm.
she's just confined to one place in the entire movie. And so but I love this movie so much. I have nothing bad to say about it except for the, couple of flaws that I find with it, but I just think it's so enjoyable to watch. It's fun, like, the kills are pretty good. Like, they're not, like, brutal by any means, but, um, like, I love the hot tub kill where he just keeps dipping her head inside the water as it gets hotter and her face is, like, burned off. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that's my number 3. I'm so sorry to
That's
you and the
okay.
listeners for taking that long, but
No,
when
this is what.
I get very passionate, and I think you can agree with me that you feel the same way about movies, like
If I was in a rush, I wouldn't keep opening up these discussions about these movies. Like, I am
yeah.
starting to think that we may have to do remakes in a separate session. We'll see how we go. But no, like this is, look, if we have to do a two-part Halloween episode, that's not going to
That's what I
disappoint
was
anyone.
thinking, actually. I
Mm.
was thinking we could just do that because what is it starting to get light outside yet?
It's going to
Nope,
be
it's not
what
light
almost,
outside.
it must be almost 6 a.m. your time now.
It's actually almost 7 a.m., but
Oh, okay, so it's almost midnight here for me.
yeah, yeah.
So we've been
Yeah,
going for
so
almost 2 hours already.
yeah. So why don't we record the other top 5 next weekend and we can stop after this list if you want
Not about.
to.
I mean, look. Do you know what? That works out well because that way we'll be fresh for it. We at least have one. We'll have at least something down for Halloween. But yeah, all right, that's a great idea.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
Um,
um
all right, we'll jump into my number 3 then, and this one has to be on your list. If this isn't on your list, I'm gonna be so shocked. Unless you don't consider it a sequel, but I absolutely do, and it's Doctor Sleep.
Yeah, that's on my list, but
Yeah, I imagine. I imagine.
it's much higher.
Yeah. Again, mine aren't in any order. I just put them down as I remembered them. Um, the first time I watched Doctor Sleep, I was a little bit underwhelmed. I was like, and I don't know whether it was the time I was watching it because I watched it like 6 in the morning, something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. I didn't really. I was like, it's fine. I rewatched it this year following a lengthy discussion with you and Kev because you guys both love. Oh, what's the filmmaker's name again? I feel like so.
Um, oh my gosh, I almost have it. Shit. Uh,
Oh no, Haunting of
why
Hill
am I
House, Haunting of
blanking?
Bly Manor.
Mike Flanagan, thank
Mike
you.
Flanagan. Yeah, you guys are huge Mike
Yeah.
Flanagan fans. I sent you guys. I don't know if you guys saw, but I was at a record store the other day and I found Haunting of Hill House on vinyl in a record store. I was like, oh, I'll send
Oh,
you guys an image.
I
Um,
love that.
but I rewatched it on your recommendation. It was the 3 hour cut, and man, like It's so good. Like it's 3 hours, but it does not stop. It flows so well. Ewan
Mm,
McGregor. I mean, I'm not like breaking new ground by saying he's a great actor, but like he plays the character of Danny so well. Like
yeah,
you feel like it's a continued performance from that little boy, 40 years ago. Like it feels like the same character. He
yeah,
plays unlikable, in the start of him because he's such like a you know, I remember when the book came, when I finally got around to reading the book, I read The Shining a couple of years ago, and someone was like, "Oh, you're gonna read Doctor Sleep after that?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And then I got to the end of The Shining, I was like, "You know what? Like that poor boy has suffered enough. I'm gonna wait a little while and let him kind
yeah.
of live a life, and then I'll come back to Doctor Sleep." And I'm glad I did because he doesn't poor Danny Torrance does not have an easy life. Like it doesn't work out well for him at
No,
all. Um, so he's great in it. It is scary, like some of the stuff they do in there, especially the shout outs to the Overlook, like having the old woman in the tub and stuff. Like scariest part of
yeah,
that original movie, scariest part of Doctor Sleep for me. But
yeah.
I would be remiss if I didn't spend time talking about Rose the Hat, like who
Oh, I love
of
her.
course.
I love her. She's
I
the
know you
best.
do. And I remember when you told me that, I was like, okay. And I didn't like say anything, but in my mind, I was like, really? Like, I don't remember her being that great. And then I watched it this time. I was like, I was the idiot, and Michael was onto it the whole time. Like, Rebecca Ferguson is so chilling, even in that first scene where like the little
Yeah,
girl comes down and she's like, oh, I think I want to go now. And she's like, no, stay. Like, let's have a chat with her. And then like you just see them all starting to close in around her.
yeah.
Because those who haven't seen Doctor Sleep, it's basically like about a cult of child murderers. It's a little bit more elaborate than that, but that's basically what they do. It turns
They
out that
basically kill and torture them and then take their shine so that they can live
yeah, they
longer.
need to, and
Yeah,
they need them to be as scared as possible because the more scared they are, the more powerful the shine is. So basically, in The Shining, you've got Danny and you've got Scatman Crothers, Dick O'Halloran, I think
yeah,
his name is,
yeah,
who are like the only two people in the world who can shine. And then in Doctor Sleep, it turns out that like, oh no, there are lots of them, and some of them shine a little bit, and some of them shine quite a bit. And this cult are going around like all across America, abducting children, scaring them, and then murdering them so they can take their shine, so they can have immortality, basically.
yeah.
Um, you've got oh, what's the girl's name? The girl from Babysitter Part Two,
Oh,
Natalie Allen Lind. Is that it? The
I
other one?
love her. She's
So good
like
in this.
she's so good. Like her villain character is so good, and like her pixie cut, love it.
Yeah,
She looks great.
she's
Like
great in it. The girl who plays Abra, I wish I remembered her name, but Abra is just such a
phenomenal.
such a great performance. Like this is a flick full of strong like actors, and like she is wonderful in it.
Even like
Um,
the kid that gets murdered in that one scene, he's so
the
good.
baseball boy,
Everyone in this
yeah.
movie is on point. Like there's not a single person in this movie that I think is a bad actor or like weighs the movie down at all. Everyone in this movie is perfection, and this movie is perfection. So
No, it's really really good. It just I know you're going to do it a lot more justice when we get to it on your list, but I when I came up with the idea of doing lists of remakes and sequels, it wasn't even on my radar when I first came with the idea. And then after I watched, I was like, this is immediately a top five like sequel for me. It's so good. Like I know Stephen King and some purists have issues with the original Shining, like the Kubrick version of it. I actually think it's excellent. I think it's a really
it's a
strong.
masterpiece. It's like
It
literally
is
one of
like
the best horror
it's
movies ever made.
pretty flawless. Like, and you have to make some exceptions from time to time. So there, that alone made it difficult. It's like, how do you write a sequel to that book? How do you sequelize that movie? And there's no way you can. There's no way. It's a perfect
No.
film. How do you improve on it? The book did a really wonderful job of taking the concept and doing something different, so it wasn't trying to be The Shining 2. It's a whole new story that builds on the lore of it. And then Mike
Yeah.
Flanagan like somehow managed to make a film that I would say, and maybe controversially, is on par, stands shoulder to shoulder with The Shining. It is as good
Yeah,
as The Shining.
there's times when I think it might even be better.
I think I
Like
said that to you after I watched it. I'm like, I don't know, but I might like it more than The Shining.
yeah.
And that's only because, like all Kubrick films, there are some quiet moments, there's some slow moments, there's some indulgent camera shots where it's like, I appreciate the craft, but we can move things along a little bit. Like
Yeah.
Doctor Sleep is longer than The Shining, but it moves quicker than The Shining.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, and I know that a lot of people think that the back half is like very fan servicey where they go back to the hotel, and a lot of people like I've
Straight
heard
from the
some
book.
people Yeah, and some people get annoyed with that, but I'm like, first of all, it's from the book, and second of all, like, I mean, it's Danny. Where else the fuck would he go? Like, aside
Mm,
from where he knows that these evil people are, like, of course he's gonna go to the Overlook. Like, I don't understand people's like issues with like it's fan servicey. I'm like, I mean, it is, but it also isn't. Like, it's kind of integral to the story that they go back to the hotel. And yeah, sure, like they do like little flashbacks and stuff, like when him and Rose are like having the standoff and she's walking up the stairs, similar to how Jack Nicholson does it in
mm.
the original. Like, I love those little things like that. It didn't bother me in the slightest. I was actually so excited when I watched Doctor Sleep in the theater, when it got to the part that I knew we were going back to the Overlook, like I turned to my friend and I was like, "It's happening, it's coming," and he was
And
like, "Yeah,
also, like, there's nothing wrong with fan service. Like, some people think that fan service is a dirty word, but as a guy who goes to every single one of those Marvel movies and every single one of those DC films, like, I want fan service. I want
yeah,
characters who look like they do in the comic books. I want them to say the catchphrases they say. I want them to reference the place. I want them to do all those things. So, like, give me the fan service, because if you're not a fan, or like you're coming to it new, that's fine. That's something, a bit of world building. If you want to research, you can. If not, that's fine. But if you're a fan, you're getting, not only you getting an incredible product, but you're getting everything you want as well. Like, you get to have your cake and eat it too. Like, how often does that
yeah,
happen? So and I forgot how brutal it was, because I was like, "Oh, it's actually not too brutal. Like, it's pretty, like, it's very much a dramatic piece." I completely forgot about like Rose's hand in the drawer, like when Arbor shuts it and like
oh
skins her knuckles. Like, we are talking about Hostel 2 before, and look, I'm not an idiot. Hostel 2 is way more gory, but I cringed a lot harder during that knuckle scene than pretty much anything in those
yeah,
Saw movies. Like, oh my god, because that's real.
yeah,
It's like, oh, you can imagine doing that. Like, oh,
oh
yeah.
yes." This movie is just, there's nothing wrong with this movie. Period.
All the Abra and Rose scenes, actually, like when she throws her across the supermarket aisle, like,
Oh, it's so good,
um,
so good. And when
yeah,
she comes into her room, like with the hands part that you were just talking about, like when she comes into the room, or I love the whole shootout with them
yeah,
when, yeah, and like oh, I love that so much. And then yeah,
and it's got a
I'll
really
get to it.
beautiful ending. It's got a really beautiful ending, like, and I can't remember if
Yeah,
it's in the book or not. It probably is in the book. This seems like it's like, I remember this being quite faithful to the book, but the idea that, like, spoilers, that Danny dies, but like there is kind of an afterlife, and like, she's still communicating with, with Danny and her father and like other people who fell as well. It's like, oh, that's kind of, you didn't need to do that. I didn't go in there looking for like comfort about the afterlife or anything like that, but I'm glad you threw it in there. Like, it's, you managed to find a way to give it a really happy ending, even though it, not everything works out the way you want it to.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a great flick.
ugh,
I'm so
it's
glad you pushed me to watch the director's cut, because it was well
yeah,
worth
because
my
I've been
time.
asking you forever. I was like, watch it, and you're like, I'll get to it, and I was like, no, watch it now.
Yeah, but I did, like, to be fair, I kept my word and I did check it out.
I
So,
know. Yeah, and it's perfection. It's literally a perfect movie.
mm,
Like, there's nothing wrong. I mean, similar to the original Shining, like that movie's perfect to me too. Like
yeah.
Halloween, The Shining, Doctor Sleep, The Grudge, I think is perfect. A lot of other people probably wouldn't, but there are certain movies that I'm like, these movies are perfection. I have nothing wrong with them. So,
I love a perfect film, and they are. You're right. They are out there. There are some films that's like, I got nothing bad to say about this. Like, this is just
yeah.
perfect.
Well,
Um,
that's kind of similar with my next pick, my number 2 pick, if you're ready to get into that. I
I'm
don't know if
ready.
you have
Let's hit number two. Let's go for it.
Okay, so I hinted at this earlier. This is a film that takes place in the Conjuring universe.
Okay.
It might surprise people that this actually, I don't know, because I feel like this movie is very like strongly regarded as one of the best. When I see like a lot of people's rankings of the Conjuring franchise, this one's pretty up pretty high. But I think it would surprise me that I put it before the Conjuring 1 and 2, because I think this is the best movie of the franchise. But that's Annabelle Creation. I fucking love this movie.
Okay, cool. I haven't seen any of the Annabelle films, so yeah, I won't know anything about this, but I'm keen to hear why you like it. And it's not because I just haven't got to them yet. Just haven't got around to them, but I definitely want to check them out. So, is
Yeah,
this David
Annabelle.
Sandberg? Is he the director?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. Um,
I
and
like him.
it's
He did those Shazam films. I think they're really really
And he
charming.
did
So,
Lights Out. He did the
mm,
YouTube version of Lights Out and the actual movie Lights Out. So
yeah.
pretty cool. Pretty inspiring. Another YouTuber that went from YouTube fame to actually making movies, kind of like the brothers that made Talk to Me. So It's kind of
Oh, cool. I
inspiring to
didn't
see
know
people.
that. There you go.
Yeah, they have like a channel called Rocka Rocka, I think, and they do like a lot of like special effects type stuff. Like it's like really cool.
Oh,
And
I did see
like
that. They've done some pretty big stuff actually. Yeah.
yeah. So it's inspiring to see like YouTuber. Like it's like kind of something that I want to try to do. Like I want to get my foot in the
We've got
business
our
and
purge story. Don't worry. We've got it. Foolishly, we've announced it publicly on a podcast, but we'll just have to write it before
yeah.
this comes out. We've got 2 weeks.
Well, I've also got ideas for like other movies too. Like I have a Jeepers Creepers idea
I
that I
remember you
actually
talked about it the last time you were on.
really love. Like I'm actually really excited to write that one. I mean, because it can't get any worse than Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
I
So
haven't seen 3 or 4, so Ravenous or Reborn. So I got to check them
don't
out.
watch them. Don't watch
No,
them. They're terrible. Yeah. Well, I would watch Jeepers Creepers 3 again before I'd watch the fourth one, but you know.
I've got to rewatch the original two. I've only seen them both once, and I was in the wrong. Like again, this is pre 2020 James, the guy who judged everything, and I didn't care for them either. But I've got to go back and check them out.
Oh, I love the first one. The
I
second one's
know.
okay, but
I actually saw the second one before the first one. I don't know
hmm,
why. Just
interesting.
yeah. I mean, look,
Yeah.
I've got a long history of poor decisions, Michael. What can I say? Uh,
Yeah. Well, I
let's
really
talk
love
Annabelle creation. Let's
yes.
hear about it. Sorry.
Well, no, you're good. I really love Annabelle Creation because this movie feels a lot more different than the other Conjuring movies. Like, yes, it has like the typical like jump scares and stuff that they do, but they do it so well where it feels like everything is earned. Like it doesn't feel like, oh my god, another jump scare, roll my eyes. Like it actually felt like these jump scares are actually genuinely kind of scary. Like
Mm.
I remember watching it in the theater and there were a couple of moments where I was actually kind of freaked out, and that doesn't happen to me very often. Like, as you know, I've seen a lot of movies, so it takes a lot for me to get freaked out anymore these days. But this movie actually kind of managed to affect me in a couple of scenes. Like there's some genuinely creepy scenes. And it also like has like kids involved. So that's like another, you know, what's the word? Like just another stake, that's the word.
Yep.
It's like another stake because there's like children. Like it's basically like these children go to this orphanage. It happens to be like this old like farmhouse, and the parents that live in the people that live in the farmhouse, they had a daughter named Annabelle, and she like died. And this guy was like making those dolls. He made the Annabelle dolls, like he was a doll maker, and he like sold them to people. And so like he has this one doll in the house and he keeps it locked away so no one else can find it because like some really demonic I won't get into like super bad, but like basically one of the girls finds the doll and then all hell breaks loose after that. But
Mm.
like it's just so good. Like it's so good. And I will recommend watching the first Annabelle before you watch the second one because there is a twist at the end of the second one that will only really make sense if you watch the first one first. Granted, the first one's not as great. I don't understand the hype that the first Annabelle, or I don't understand the hate that the first Annabelle gets because I don't think it's the worst movie in the franchise. That will go to The Nun or La Llorona or whatever the fuck that movie was.
Is that
But
part of the Conjuring franchise? I wasn't sure if it was.
they tried to like I
Is that the
feel like it's
curse? Is that
not.
Curse of the Weeping Woman? Is that the one?
Yeah, the Curse of La Llorona. And there's like one scene where it shows a priest like holding the Annabelle doll, and that's like really all it is. It's like
Oh.
you call okay, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, like I really love this movie. I honestly I think it's a perfect movie as well. Like I
Wow,
love the
cool.
characters in it. Yeah, it has the one girl from Haunting of Hill House, the one that plays the young version of Shirley, and she's in a
Okay.
lot of stuff. She I don't know if you can picture her right now,
I haven't
but
seen it still, so like since you guys told me to watch, I haven't watched any TV. I'm only watching movies at the moment, so I've got to get to Hill House.
you haven't watched Hill House?
Yeah, like, you guys told me to watch it like back when you were last on. I haven't got to it yet, so
James, I have to go.
yeah, you're
I'm
like
sorry.
those remakes we talk about. Don't worry about it. We're not going to get to them.
This was fun and all, but I can't talk to you until you've watched Haunting of Hill House. So I'm just kidding. Um,
Phew.
but um, but yeah, I think Annabelle Creation is a fantastic fucking movie. I think the characters are in this movie are great. I think the scares are really great. The ending twist is pretty cool too. So I have really nothing negative to say about Annabelle Creation. I think honestly it's the best film out of the entire Conjuring universe, and I know that's probably controversial because I know most people would say either the first Conjuring or the Conjuring 2, but
Conjuring
I
2 is very long. It's like I like Conjuring 2, but it's a long movie.
see that's how I feel about the first Conjuring. Like I like it, but I think I prefer the second one over the first one.
Interesting. I haven't watched either of
Yeah.
them in a long time. I've only watched them both once, but I remember loving the first one because I hadn't seen a horror movie quite like it, in as much as it didn't rely on a lot of jump scares, and what it would do instead was build that tension and pull that tension and pull it and pull it and pull it, and then just move on and not reward you with a jump scare. And I was like, "Oh, I don't like this. I needed that, like, that release of a jump scare." Like, I'd never really seen anything
Yeah.
like that before. Whereas two, I think there were more jump scares. They had like the crooked man, and they had the nun, and they had all sorts of other things going on. And I think, and it was quite long. But I got to give them both a rewatch, so I'll get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's my number 2 is Annabelle Creation. So what is your are we going to your number 2?
My number two now, and this is one that is a shocking omission from your list. We touched on it before, and it's Scream 4.
Yeah.
Um, Scream
Just
4, yeah.
we'll just pretend that I said Scream 4 was on my list, so
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Scream 4 was actually the first Scream movie I ever watched. Um, I oh no, actually, no, that's not true. I saw Scream 3 first, but that didn't really count because I didn't. I only watched it because Jay and Silent Bob were in it. Like, that was the only reason.
don't you dare say Scream 3 is bad because I love Scream 3.
No, I like Scream 3 more than. Oh, what's my? I don't know if I have my ranking, but like I think 1, 3, 1, 4, and 6 are like up the top for me.
Yeah.
I think 2 is my least favorite. Um,
That's controversial because 2 is like
yeah,
my second to least favorite. Like 5 is my least favorite, and then 2, and then 3, 6, 1, 4. Because 4 is always gonna be my favorite no
yeah.
matter what. Like,
Um, no, I quite like 3. Like, 3 is very cheesy, but like, and like the twist is, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's still not a bad film. And like, I think we've talked about this before, but like Scream, I think now is one of the few horror franchises that doesn't really have too many, like its weakest link is still pretty good. Like,
yeah,
it's a pretty solid franchise. Like, a lot of the other kind of franchises have kind of sold out and jumped the shark and done stuff. But like, whilst it's gone into some silly places, it's maintained, like, stayed true to its original goal the whole way through. So
yeah,
yeah, but for look, I'm a film nerd, man. I love it when movies get meta, and like, there's no film in the franchise more meta than Scream 4. Like, it has the best, well, until 6, maybe the best opening. Like, like, the opening to 1 is fantastic, and that's why I'm tired with those ones, because that opening for 1 is so scary. Like, the first time
yeah,
I saw it, I was like, that's not scary, but now when I watch, I'm like, that's terrifying.
yeah,
6 is so creative and different and just not what we're expecting at all. But 4, just like opening scene with an opening scene with an opening scene, like the commentary on horror, like making fun of it. Look, I really dig it. Plus, you get some really great celebrity cameos just by doing something
yeah.
silly like that.
Like
Um,
Lucy Hale and
and
Kristen Bell and
yeah, it's Kristen Bell. That's right. And like, if Wes Craven had to go out with one last Scream film, I think that, like, I'm so glad it was Scream 4, like, because it was a
yeah.
chance for him to take one more shot at the franchise. Like, they talk about, um, it was 2011. I'm trying to think what was in the zeitgeist in 2011, because it's number 5 where they talk about like more cerebral horror, like the kind of higher intelligence horror, like Hereditary and Midsommar and stuff like that. But 4,
Oh,
they
that's 5.
yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah. That's
yeah.
5. Yeah, but 4 is where they're talking about like the slashes are played out and they're all done to death. It's got a great cast. You get Kirby, who's a fantastic character,
Oh,
like
yeah.
female film nerd, like, which even in 2011 felt like a bit of a stretch. Like, I didn't know many film nerds in 2011 unless they were guys. But she's a great character. I like Alison Brie. Like, she's not in it for very long, but she's wonderful.
Yeah.
You get Marley Shelton as like the assistant cop who's like obsessed with Dewey. Um, and I was
I
really
made some
sad.
lemon squares. I have them in my
Yeah,
car.
yeah. And
Your lemon squares taste like ass.
um, Gail is great in it. Like, Sydney's great in it.
Yeah.
I'm building up to your favorite. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten her. Um, isn't And you got Rory Culkin, who's just weird, and I don't
Oh,
know, like, I don't know why Kirby's into him, but that's fine. And isn't the other guy also Detective
he
Matthew's
played
son from Saw 2?
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
he is, and he's super hot too. I'm like so into him. I'm like, yeah, he's hot.
Um, but like Jill, like, what a great character. Like, she's
Yeah,
so good in it. Like, I love Emma Roberts. I hadn't seen Emma Roberts in anything until Scream 4, and I was
yeah,
immediately converted. I was like, I will watch this chick in anything. She's so good. Like, and unfortunately, she hasn't. been a lot of wonderful stuff. Like there hasn't been anything too trashy, but like there's been stuff like Nerve I really wanted to love, and I thought Nerve was a little bit. I
Bye.
what
I have to go. I loved it. I love Nerve,
I got it.
except for
Like
when you
I
get
th-
the Machine Gun Kelly cameo, which I'm just like, I can't stand that fucking
my
guy. So
problem with Nerve was it was a little bit tame. I was kind of expecting it to like I loved the concept of I want to go further, but I liked her in it. Um,
yeah,
I liked her in American Horror Story. I know that like season three, like a lot of people, that was the one where a lot of people checked out, but I actually really dig it.
I
Except for
love Coven. What the
Coven's
fuck?
great.
People
Yep.
checked out after Coven?
Yeah, people checked out of Coven because they thought it was cheesy. The one thing I didn't like about Coven, and maybe we won't see eye to eye on this either, is that like the whole season, like, oh, when you're studying witchcraft, you've got to like do the seven wonders. I'm like, oh, what are the seven wonders? It's just the whole point. The whole point of that was just so they could get Stevie Nicks to sing Seven Wonders in the finale. I was like, that's
Yeah.
dumb.
It's so gimmicky, yeah.
Yeah, but she's
It's like,
great in it.
wow, you accomplished what you needed to do. You got Stevie Nicks on your show. I'm
I
sure it would
even
have been a lot
watched
easier, but
I even watched Scream Queens because of her. I didn't watch season two of Scream Queens, but I watched season one. And she's great in it. Like she's
she's
awesome in it.
so good.
Yeah.
She's so funny. Like I often watch Chanel compilations where it's just like her best scenes and I'm just
Mm.
like she is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like she's hilarious. Um yeah.
But Jill is such a great character. And like I know some people don't like her motivations, but I'm like, I think jealousy as a teenager and wanting and like she's she's a TikToker before TikTok. Like she's
Yeah.
part like do you know what I mean? Like if the film was made today, like Jill would be on TikTok.
Mhm.
Like
She'd be sharing her experience. She'd be like all dramatic. She'd be sitting in like a big oversized armchair. I want to share with you guys today my experience.
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah, yeah,
unfortunately, like it was made just before. I mean, like social media was around, but it was before like the instant like reviews and sharing every experience. But like that's who she is. Like
yeah.
I think she's a great character. It's got some really brutal kills in it. Like it's some of the most like when the two cops eat it, like Anthony Anderson and Seth from the OC. What's his name?
Adam Brody.
And
Yeah.
who's wonderful as well. But I love Adam Brody. Like they
Adam
cop it pretty
Brody.
bad. Like um, I love Gail staking out the Stabathon, like putting the cameras
Mhm.
in. Like that's so good. Um,
Like I feel like we got the spunky Gale that we got in the first two movies
hmm
cuz like I feel like in 3 yeah, she's like still spunky, but I feel like she loses a lot of her spark in 3.
mm,
So it's really nice to see her come back to 4 and like she's sassy with people, like she has like
yeah.
really good one-liners, like she's very involved
hmm
again and it was just it's like such a breath of fresh air to see her like go back to the personality she had in the first two movies where she's like not like cutthroat, but she still has like that sass.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It might be my favorite version of Gale, although I do like Scream Six Gale, who finally gets a face off with Ghostface.
Which is
Uh,
crazy because like I didn't even think about that before. I was like, wow, she really has never gotten a phone call from Ghostface before. I
yeah,
didn't even think about that. And then when they brought it up in the movie, I was like, holy shit, she hasn't. Wow.
yeah,
This is iconic. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and like again, like oh, the best moments are all Jill moments. Like Jill throwing herself through the coffee table, like beating herself up so that it looks like there was a tussle. Like she took what they did in the first one and like amplifies it, makes it so over dramatic and silly, but it's wonderful. Um,
Yeah.
it's just I feel like it embraces everything the original film wanted, but like and it's so lovingly done. Like and only Wes could have done this where he can I think it's the most fun of the
Yeah.
series. Like,
100.
but doesn't take away from the scares. Like when it gets scary, it is scary. It doesn't take away from like those serious moments. I just think it's a really well balanced sequel, and I think a lot of people just wrote it off at the time because it had a four in the title. I think that was a big part of it. Like it had a four in the title, like, and it was
Yeah.
10 years later. But I think it's one of the franchise strongest. It's really fun, and like it might have the best cast out of all of the movies. Like
I
it's a
agree.
strong cast.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it. I think it's so well done. And as a film nerd who loves meta things, like just the constant referencing is wonderful. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad that you have Scream 4 on your list. I feel so dumb and ashamed everyone can throw tomatoes at me now. Boo!
No,
How could
because
you
they're
forget?
listening and they'll be like, "Oh my god, Scream 4. Why wasn't Scream 2? Why is that on the bottom of your list?" And it's like, oh, I'm sorry,
That's
like,
true. Yeah, I mean, Scream 2 has the strongest set pieces of all the movies, like the whole car escape scene, the fucking Gale getting chased through the, the video section of the it's so good. Like, but
oh, it's a great film, but like
it feels like a long movie. You were talking about how you felt like what was it?
Conjuring
What
2.
was Conjuring 2 felt like a long movie. I feel like that was Scream 2. Like I'm just like get to the point here with some things.
And here's the thing, like, it's a strong franchise, but something still has to come last. It doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It's just like
Oh yeah.
if I like ice cream and I like six different flavors of ice cream, one of them's still going to come six. It doesn't make it a bad flavor.
Yeah.
And same with Scream. So yeah. But I rewatched all the Scream films this year, and I loved Scream 2 way more than I remember liking it. But it still
Yeah.
is on the lower end for me.
Same. But yeah, I'm so glad that you have such a love for Scream 4 because I don't find that very often with people. I feel like people really like even to this day, a lot of people that I hear talk about like the Scream movies, like Scream 4 is usually near the bottom or at the bottom of their list. Like
Mm.
it's never like it's very rare when I find someone that actually has Scream 4 as like their favorite sequel of the franchise. So when I do find other people that like it as much as I do, I'm like, thank you. And I think for me, it's like more of a nostalgic thing as well, because that was the first movie that I got to see in the theater that was a Scream movie because I was too
Mm.
young for the other ones. Like I was like not, I was like, fuck, I was 6 when the third one came out in 2000. I'm pretty sure. No, I was like 7 or 8. But I mean, I was
That
still too
tracks
young
because
to,
I think I'm 5 years older than you, and so when
yeah,
Scream, because Scream came out in '96, the first one, so I
yeah,
was 8, and
yeah.
you would have been like what, 3?
3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
weren't letting us in, even if we went in holding hands. They weren't letting us into theater in '96.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
Scream
the
4 isn't just my favorite sequel. I think it's my favorite Scream film. Look, I just think it's
Oh, it's
yeah,
mine too. It
yeah,
will forever
it's
be like I thought maybe that Scream 6 would bump it down to number 2, but I was like, nah. Scream 4 still holds the title for my favorite movie of the franchise. Like I love it so much. Like I love the characters. I think it has the best killer reveal of all the movies. Like because I remember going into it thinking that Jill was going to be like the new Sydney, and I think that was so clever how they did that because like they make her seem like she will be the new Sydney.
oh yeah,
Um
absolutely. I think that twist got a lot of people because I was like, yeah, she's gonna be the new girl. Like it's a reboot, and they talk about it. Is it a sequel? Is it a reboot? They do that whole conversation. That's what the
yeah.
focus was. I couldn't remember what it was. That's what the focus of that film was, and her being like, yeah, the new final girl, and then no, she's not. Like she's trying to build it so she is a final girl, but she's stacked the deck so she is.
Yeah, and I mean, she's the closest killer of them all to get away with it. So, I mean, if she would have probably killed Sydney, like actually went through with actually killing her, she would have gotten away with it. But
Yeah.
I just love. I think my favorite lines of dialogue are in that like last scene where she's revealed as the killer. Like when she's like, "You think you had a shitty boyfriend, Sydney? Here's one that fucks you, dumps you, and doesn't even make you famous." Like it's
Yeah.
just so. And like the hospital scene, like when she's like, "What are you, Michael fucking Myers?"
Mm.
And just like when she's like, "Get up, bitch."
It
Now walk your
yeah.
skinny ass over here. Yeah, it's just so she's so fucking great. Like I
Yeah,
love it. I'm so glad that's on your list. That makes me
for
very
sure.
happy. Um, is that all you want to talk about with Scream 4?
I mean, we could do a whole episode of Scream 4, but we should move on to our number ones. And
Okay.
again, I need to because because I know the reaction I'm going to get when I tell you what the next one on my list is. They're not in order. Like this is just as I thought of them. So Scream 4 is like they're all. I like all of these ones pretty equally. Because
Okay.
when I tell you my next one, you're like, "That's number one." No, it's not. It's just one that I like.
No. I'm
We
just
know
kidding.
what I look. I know what your number one is because it's the one thing you haven't really talked about yet. But
Yeah.
round it
Yeah.
out.
And
Talk about it.
so my number one, we've talked about it before. It was your number 3, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's Doctor Sleep. I mean, when the first movie I immediately thought of when we're thinking about sequels was this one, and this one was like my easiest choice. I put it immediately at number 1 because I said this movie is the most superior sequel we've ever gotten, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. I think it's literally perfection. It's a masterpiece. There's nothing wrong with it. Um, all the things that you said before, the way it flows, like the characters, Everyone's acting in this movie is incredible. Like I have my favorite villain of all time now, which is Rose the Hat. Like
Mhm.
she's so great. And Abra, like as a final girl, she's fucking great too. Like she's so smart. Um, and like just like the nuances of, like there's the very subtle things that Mike Flanagan does in the sequel that I really love. Like for example, like there's the scene where he's sitting in the office with the guy that was like, "How did you know about my watch?"
Mm.
And it looks exactly like The Office from The Shining, where Jack Nicholson's getting interviewed
Yes.
for the for being a part of the hotel, like in charge of the hotel. Like the office is set up exactly the way it was in The Shining, which was a really fun. Like you even get a cameo from the guy that played Danny Torrance in the original movie.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
know that? Because I didn't know that for the longest time. And I was like looking up like the fun facts for it. And I was like, oh my God, he's the guy in that baseball scene, the one that's like, see Brad here. I was like, I didn't even know that. That's so cool.
Mm.
Um, and just like little things, like little fun references. Um, this movie is solid in every way. I have no problem. Like nothing needs to be changed. Everything is perfect to me. Like I know I've heard people gripe about certain things, and I'm just like, I don't know what you're griping about, but I think this is a perfect movie. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, like they changed a couple of things in there, but like from the book, but not much. Like there's one character I can't remember the character's name, and you'll correct me, but it's someone the Chunk. Is that what it is? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
can't
it
remember his name off the
yeah
top of my head right
in the
now, but
book it's a racial slur, and I was like, you know what? We don't need it in the movie. I don't mind they changed that.
I
Like
don't. That's one thing I don't understand about Stephen King. What is his like obsession with like putting racism and like weird fucking like the whole like I'll never understand his decision to like for the ending of like the It book that he had them have like a fucking like orgy together with Beverly. Like it's so fucking weird to me. Like I'm
Well, I
like
think
you're
those were during his coke years, so that might explain some of it.
I
Um,
mean yeah, but I'm like you're a grown fucking man writing about shit like this. It's kind of weird and
the
it's kind of
racism
creepy.
thing, like I understand in some of his books, like the racism in it makes sense.
Oh, it
Like,
does. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
but in
absolutely.
like the racism in Doctor Sleep doesn't make as much sense. And the weird orgy thing at the end of it, like I was reading about it and I was talking to people about it when I finally read the book and stuff. Because I was like, I just I'm not saying it doesn't belong in the book. Like, obviously, I need to understand the reason. And I think the closest someone came to kind of help me understand was like, look, these children who are like at this point in the book, they're lost. Like they've just experienced the most evil thing possible. They're lost. They can't get out. They need to survive. And the idea of like them, their love guiding them, I'm like, okay, I guess, but I think there's another way to express love other than seven children, because they're children having sex. Like, there's probably a better way to do it.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
don't. I
and
don't.
I
I don't
remember
get.
I was reading the
I
book
don't.
at work. Like I was like, because it's such a big book, I was reading it everywhere. I was reading that scene at work, and I felt really weird reading it in the break room at work. I was like, this feels weird. Um,
Yeah. A coworker comes in. He's like, "You got to that one part yet?"
yeah,
And you're like, "Unfortunately, yeah."
it's like I'm not even kidding. That literally did happen. Like one of the guys who like explained because he'd read the book as well. He was like, "You're near the end. If you got to that part," I'm like, "I'm actually reading it right now. It's very strange." Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care the reasoning behind it. That's just fucking weird, and I'll never understand that. Like, I'm just like, that's weird and gross, and like, you should not write about children having sex with each other. It's just fucking
He
weird.
puts lots of gross stuff in his books. Like even like
Mm-hmm.
Misery, like which is a wonderful movie.
Yeah.
Misery is such a great film, and the book's really good as well. But there's stuff in there like where he talks about like bodily fluids on like Annie Wilkes's bed, like mattress and stuff like that. I'm like, why are we talking about this? Like,
What is this important to the plot? Like, why is
I
that?
know that you want to build the world, but like, I don't want to live in this world. Like, build a different world.
No, no fucking way.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I fucking love Doctor Sleep. I think it's a perfect movie. I think you know, I think that Mike Flanagan had a really hard task at hand because I think you brought it up earlier. He had the task of pleasing the fans that love The Shining, but also pleasing the fans that liked the book, and Stephen King and stuff. And I think he straddled that line flawlessly.
Mm.
I think he still had a lot of what made the original Stanley Kubrick Shining amazing, and he kept a lot of that in there for the fans of the movie like you and I. But then he also stayed very true to like the source material. Like I've never read the book, but I do know some stuff that happens in Doctor Sleep, which I'm kind of glad that he kept out. Like there's supposed to be apparently like originally the clan, like Rose's clan, ends up dying from like a disease. Like I can't remember what the disease is, but the whole shootout doesn't happen in the book, like where they all get shot and killed. Like it's apparently like an influenza that spreads throughout the
I can't remember.
cult.
Um,
Um,
well, doesn't one of them doesn't Grandpa or whatever his name, doesn't he succumb to the disease in the movie? Like he
I
doesn't
think
have enough
so.
steam. So I think that's what happens. It's been a long time since I read it. I remember reading an interview with Mike Flanagan. And he said, "He's like, I just spoke to Stephen King and was like, look, I'm adapting it. There's no way I can't reference that Kubrick film. I know you don't like it, but like, in order for me to tell the story I need to do, I'm gonna have to address that. Otherwise, people aren't gonna realize it's a sequel. They're gonna think it's a whole different thing. This is
Yeah.
the direction will go." And like he's like I went to Stephen King for his blessing, but was prepared to move on without the blessing. But like Stephen King was like, no, I get it. And like I don't know, I was frustrated about it 40 years ago. I'm not so frustrated anymore. Like, um,
I don't think you should be frustrated, period. Like Stanley Kubrick made a fucking amazing movie out of his book, which I have to
mm,
say, like I've went on this soapbox about Stephen King before. I respect him as a writer. I do. I think he's very, if it wasn't for Stephen King, we wouldn't have like it, we wouldn't have The Shining, we wouldn't have Misery, like we wouldn't have these amazing movies that we have today without his books.
mm,
But my problem with Stephen King is he thinks that he has to put every single fucking thing that's in his book in the movie. And I don't think he understands that like not everything translates on film.
mm,
Like the whole hedge animals coming alive in the original Shining book, that's a cool concept, but
mm.
that would look fucking ridiculous in 1980.
But yeah, in 19 like you could do it now, but like in 1980 you couldn't. Like there's just no way you could make it work.
Yeah.
Like in a terrifying way. 'Cause in the book it's scary, but there's no way you make it scary in the 1980s movie. Like what are you going to get people dressed up as hedge animals?
Yeah,
Like,
that would not age well. Like I feel like if they would have added that to the movie, I just
mm,
feel like that movie would be not as good as far as like that stuff goes. He just has like an issue with like he wants to keep everything that's in his books in the movies and it's like
mm,
it doesn't work that way. Like you cannot like there's some things that work and some things that don't, and you cannot get fucking mad at people for not incorporating every single fucking thing in your book. Like,
mm.
I think that's why he doesn't like The Shining that much, is because it doesn't. It's not the same as my book, and it's like, dude, like, get over it.
Yeah,
That's how I feel about it. Like,
if
it
I
leaves a
was,
bad
yeah.
taste in my mouth.
No, for sure. Like, there's definitely like plenty. I remember, like, there are plenty of movies based on books. But if I got caught up on that sort of thing, then I would just hate all those movies. Like, try watching a Harry Potter film if you're a fan of the book, and you need it to be like word perfect because like some of the stuff they leave out. I just watched all the films recently, and there's stuff where I'm like, I was talking to my wife because she's a huge Potter fan. I'm like, if you haven't read the books, like, good luck following half these movies. There's so much stuff missing, and they're not
Yeah,
poorly made films. There's just so much content. Like, um, and there are some films of Stephen King's that are actually improvements. Like Brian De Palma's Carrie, far better than the book. Like
yeah,
it's much. The book is great, but the book like has like interviews and weird like news clippings and like radio excerpts and stuff. Is just like this works great as a book, but none of it would translate to the film. But the film, yeah, is an improvement. So,
yeah,
and Doctor
definitely.
Sleep is wonderful.
Doctor Sleep is just. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, honestly. Like, it's not just one of my favorite horror movies. It's literally one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I hold it in such high regard. Like I hold it on the freaking same platform that I hold Titanic.
Mm.
Like I think this movie is a fucking masterpiece. I think it is like perfection. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, that was a tangent. I'm sorry.
No, this is you bring the passion, man. And we're both doing pretty well. Like you've been up, I don't know how long you've been up for, but it's almost 6:30 now for you. It's after midnight for me. I've been up since 6:30. So like
Yeah, we're
we're
chugging along pretty good.
we're
I
doing
will
right.
say though, I think we're gonna have to do part two at a
No,
later
look,
time
the
because
decision to do remakes separately is a great idea. Because we have
yeah,
been going for almost 3 hours, like 2.5 hours. Like that's
yeah,
it's flown. I'll be honest. Like I haven't been checking my watch. I was just doing the math. I'm
me
like,
either.
it's not like an hour, hasn't it? No, it's been almost 3 hours, which people
Yeah,
should come to expect with the Michael episode. Uh,
for sure. Seriously, but
the listeners have been treated. Because I had some short episodes, but the last few, like the Tarantino episode, was over 2 hours long. Nolan was 3 hours. This is going to be close to 3 hours, and this is part one of two. So they're going to get like so much content.
oh, they're
Uh,
getting spoiled.
yeah, absolutely. If you like my show, if you don't like my show, Why are you listening to it? I guess is my.
Speak Yeah. Well, speaking of spoiled, sorry, this is like not to do with any. This is more Taylor Swift related. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do this every time,
We
everyone.
haven't.
I
I was.
know.
I was going to ask you. Like, Eras has just hit theaters and is getting reviewed very well.
Let's hear the collective groans from the listeners. They're like, "Oh my god, he always finds a way to incorporate Taylor Swift in everything he talks about." Anyway, yeah, I'm going to that today, and I'm so
Oh,
fucking
nice.
excited. I'm
It.
so excited. And then not only that, but she's releasing 1989 Taylor's version in like 2 weeks. So I'm like, we are getting
Nice.
fucking spoiled. Like
That is a
we're.
great. It's a great album, and
It is. It's my favorite album. So I'm like,
ah,
ooh,
nice, excellent.
yeah.
Eras, yeah, like it's got like an 8.7 on IMDb at the moment. Like they're saying it's one of the best concert films of all time.
And
Um,
she's already made she made 10 million the first day that she announced it, like selling the pre-sale
wow.
tickets. She made 10 million and now she's up to over like 100 million.
If she would
So
like to just throw me like a million, I'd happily take it. Like, she. I'm not asking for like this. This look. This chick is rich. Like she is rich as rich as rich. Um, yeah, I'm keen to watch it. I don't know if I'll get a chance to see it in theaters, but I'm definitely watching that concert film because, like, two and
maybe
three quarter hours of Taylor Swift. I'm down.
maybe you'll see me in it.
Possibly if they pulled it from the tour, like you were pretty close. Just
I
be a
was like 5 rows away from the stage, so like I could be in it. I don't know.
it'll be a
Maybe.
shot of you and Jennifer Garner together.
No, that would be more my sister. Like I do love Jennifer Gardner, don't get me wrong. Like and it was really surreal and exciting to see her, but like I wasn't as like I was not like, "Oh my god." My sister was like cuz she loves going on 30 is like one of her favorite movies. So
I
like
keep
she was
forgetting that's what
like,
it's called over there. That's the original title. It's not called that in Australia. It's called Suddenly 30 in Australia.
"I don't like that."
It's a shorter title. I think I like. I remember I was like 13 going on 30. That's what a mouthful that is. But that's a great movie as well.
It is so like I would have been more excited to see like Emma Roberts or
Oh,
Jennifer
you and
Lawrence
me, but
cuz I know Jennifer Lawrence was there. I know oh my gosh, Gigi Hadid and a couple of other models that she's friends with are there and I would be like I'd be so fucking excited if I
I
saw
had
them.
I had no idea who Gigi Hadid was until I busted my wife watching Next in Fashion. Um,
Mhm.
and oops, and then I quickly became obsessed with that show. I was like, wow, this is a really fun, like trashy
Yeah.
show. So we
Yeah.
and like we were not fans of Nigel at all, and his denim patches
Nigel
in Next in
Nigel
Fashion. He was like one of the contestants in Next in Fashion. We just became
Oh,
obsessed.
okay.
Yeah,
Was she like one of the judges or something?
yeah, she's the host, so it's her and Tan
Okay.
France. Yeah,
I need to watch it then because I'm in love with Gigi Hadid. Like I
yeah,
think
she was great.
she's stunning. She's her walk is like everything.
Yeah,
Cara
no, we watched
Delevingne
that.
was also there.
You're
So
just
that's
dropping names where I'm like, I gotta keep. Like you mentioned Jennifer Lawrence. I'm like, I love Jennifer Lawrence. I just watched No Hard Feelings the other day for the first time. I thought
is
it was
that wait, is that the newest movie that just came out?
it's the one where she's like 35 dating like a 19-year
Yeah,
old.
yeah. I wanted to see that movie because it looked hilarious. Like I saw the previews in the theater and I was like, I want to watch that movie. So I might
It's
go watch
pretty
that after we
it's
record.
it's pretty fun, like it didn't like reinvent the wheel of comedy or anything, but it was nice to see her do an adult comedy. Um and yeah, like she's good in it. She's good. She's good in everything though.
Yeah,
Like I've never seen a bad
really.
Jennifer Lawrence performance. So
Me either. But I'm sorry. How did we get on? How do we
Taylor
do
Swift,
this? How does this happen?
because I said the
Anyway,
listeners
yeah.
are spoiled, and you're like, speaking of spoiled, Taylor Swift, and
I'm so excited. I'm so
I can't
excited.
quite connect the dots, but I don't mind that we brought it up.
James, I'm so excited. Like you don't even know.
I'm really keen to check it out. Like there was no way I was going to see Taylor Swift in Australia because tickets were so expensive, and I don't know enough of the songs to justify spending that because I also have a mortgage and a child. But
Yeah.
um,
I know every single Taylor Swift song.
yeah, I know a couple. Like most of the songs I know are singles. There are probably a couple of songs that aren't singles, which I can go slightly deeper on, like "Stay, Stay, Stay." We've talked about before, but wouldn't.
Yeah, an under appreciated masterpiece.
Yes,
So
that is a song that makes me very happy. That is like if I'm
it
ever.
like makes me like so happy like when I listen to it. Yeah, it's kind of like it's very kind of like childish and kid like, but she was also like 19 or
That's why
20
I
when she
like it. It's a very
yeah.
innocent song. It's just like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
The line about I just want to hang out with you for the whole time. I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel about the people I love. I just want to hang out with them all the time. So great line, very relatable.
Yes.
10 out of 10.
I'm really glad you like her,
Yeah.
so makes me
Um,
happy. Anyway, you're number 1. What's your
Oh,
number
I'm gonna ruin your night or your morning because we just talked about Doctor Sleep, which is like the pinnacle for you. We talked about Taylor Swift, and now I'm gonna put in a movie that you're gonna be like, oh my god, James. Again, it's not my number one, but I do think I love it as a sequel.
Okay.
I think it's very underrated, and building on our conversation about trauma before, I think this really fits into it. It's Halloween Kills. I love Halloween Kills. I was seeing you bite your lip. You're like,
No, I was just gonna say I was gonna interject and say, I think maybe I was a little too harsh on that film when I first watched it. I've kind of come around to it. Like, I think there are so many good things about it. I just think
mm,
that fucking hospital scene ruins the rest of the fucking movie. Like, it ruins what could have been a good fucking movie, like a near perfect fucking sequel to the 2018 one, and just was like, okay, fuck you. We're just gonna, because it's just the stupidity of it. I
mm.
can't wrap my head around the fact that people would think this like 4 foot fucking 9 Danny DeVito looking motherfucker is Michael Myers. Like, it doesn't click with me. If
Yeah,
it
for sure.
they could have changed that scene so easy. Make someone that's the same height as Michael Myers,
Mm.
and there you go. That would make more sense to me. It's not even like the whole, like everyone goes with what the crowd is doing. Like, that was not an issue for me. The issue is why is everybody looking at this fucking 5'4" person and being like, "That's Michael Myers."
Well, I
Are you
guess no
fucking
one. I
kidding
guess
me?
aside from Laurie, like no one has really seen Michael Myers and lived. So, because like Laurie's like it's not him, and everyone's just ignoring her.
Well,
Um,
at first she thinks it is him, her and
oh,
fucking
that's what she
Tommy
does
both.
too. She does too. That's right.
And I'm like, "What are you? Are you guys on fucking crack? Like, what is this shit?" And then the whole just like it put a bad taste in my mouth the way they
Mm.
show the aftermath of him falling from the window. The fact that they had to show that for like gore and like shock value, it just really rubbed me the wrong way
It
because you're
is.
putting an
Yeah.
innocent like person in this situation, and it's
Mm.
anyway, I'm sorry. I did not mean to go on a
No,
soapbox.
no. I
I
look.
just
I expected it. I knew that by bringing it up was gonna open up a
well,
wound.
I did want to say that I think overall, like, it's a really solid movie.
Mm.
I do. I think that like a lot of the stuff they did is actually really good. I think the kill scenes are fucking brutal. I think the
So
flashback scenes
brutal.
are perfection.
Yeah.
Whoever was the production team behind doing like the 1978 flashbacks, give these people a fucking raise, because that was literally the best part of the movie for me, is seeing those
Yeah.
flashbacks, because I was like, I feel like I'm transported back into 1978. It was insane to me.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no, no, you're right. Like it is brutal. It's one of the most violent ones. I remember like because when they came out, the reviews were pretty poor. Like most people were not digging it all, and I was like, I don't understand why. And then when I
mm,
watched it, I was like, oh, I guess like because it's not really a horror film. Like it's more of a drama, and like because it plays like a drama, that had to put some really brutal kills in to make it feel more like a horror. But it's really like I remember when we first started talking, I was talking to you about the Halloween movies because most people weren't like it. I was like, these films are trying to say something. They're going a bit more more high concept. They're quite cerebral. Like the first one's very much about paranoia and Laurie kind of locking herself away and not wanting to confront her demons from the past and pushing everyone aside. And the second one's about trauma, and the third one is about like passing the mantle and stuff like that. And the
yeah.
idea of like the number three is like it's like almost like a commentary on forgiveness and blame, like, and what happens to those we forgive versus what happens to those we don't forgive and we keep blaming and stuff like that. And that's ultimately the demise of oh, what's the guy that everyone hates? What's the
Tommy.
no, the boy everyone hates in Ends, the one who takes over as the new Michael.
Oh, I loved him,
Yeah, he's
but
great, but I can't remember his character's name. Anyway, the one that everyone hates in Halloween Ends, like that's all
yeah.
like because he keeps getting blamed again and again and again. Like that's why he becomes what he is. But anyway, Kills I really love because it is a story about trauma. I yeah, I don't. There's just so much to like about it. I think the characters, even though they do make some stupid decisions, I think they are quite likable. I like the idea that they're trying to fight for their town. The idea that Haddonfield like has just been haunted by this trauma for 40 years, and it's not until after Michael returns they're finally willing to do something about it and try and take back their life. I think that's a really good like. Yes, you're pointing at
S-
me.
sorry. That was another issue I had because I get what you're saying, but I also don't understand because they retcon the rest of the films except for the original. So
Mm,
for me, it's like they didn't have a Halloween 2, they didn't have a Halloween 4, they didn't have a Halloween 5, which all take place in Haddonfield. So
mm,
for me, it's like, why are these people so up in arms about killing someone that was here 40 years ago and has never returned since? Like he's been in a mental hospital for the last 40 years. For me, it just felt unrealistic because I'm like,
mm.
granted, I'm sure there's like older people that were around during that time that are like, but all these young people, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure they've heard of Michael Myers, but like even then, I don't know if this entire town would be as up in arms, like, "Evil dies tonight," like, that whole, like,
Well,
mob
it's
mentality.
not the young people who are getting in on it until their parents kind of recruit them. It's all the older people. It's Tommy Doyle and all the older people who remember it. Like, because even in the first film, the 2018 like kind of sequel, um, Andy Matichak's character, who's great by the way, she's so good in all those movies.
She's
Like,
so underutilized, though. Like, it makes
yeah,
me sad because like,
she could
she
definitely
like
do a lot more, but she is great for what she does. Like even
yeah.
she's kind of like grandma's kind of weird. Like some guy. Like she even like she talks about Michael Myers, but she's not really a big impact on her either. She's like she just kind of needs to move on. Like the kids don't really care until Michael does return. Um,
Mhm.
you've got that great scene, that opening scene, like when the firefighters let Michael out of the house, and he's just hacking them all to bits.
Yeah.
There's like the knife in the eye in the SUV. You got returning actors like Carl Richards, who was in, I guess she was in one of the early Halloween films. I can't remember now.
She's
Um,
in the first one, she plays
yeah,
Lindsay
that's
Lindsay
right. Yeah,
Wallace, yeah. She's fucking great. That whole they gave her a really good scene, like, when she beats Michael over the head with the bricks, and then you get the
yeah.
whole intense, like, scene where she's hiding from him, and that was great. All that stuff was good.
Mm.
Just
Uh,
for me, it's just the Evil Dies Tonight bullshit that
I
I just
love
could not
Evil
get
Dies
behind.
Tonight. Look, but I'm a big fan of cheese as well. Like, and I will like forgive a lot of things just to see to see like silly things like that. Like, I remember watching it, like, and you're gonna roll your eyes at me. The first time I watched, I saw that I teared up. I'm like, oh my god, like they're finally gonna do it. They're like they're uniting. They're putting their nonsense behind them, and they're getting it done. Um, I was very tired at the time. That might explain the tear. Um, then
Yeah,
like little things like the three kids trick-or-treating in the park, dressed in the costumes from Halloween 3, like
yeah.
little things like that. Again, like fan service stuff, love that. I like the two Johns, Big John and Little John, like that whole like weird storyline. I'm seeing you scowl again. Like,
I'm see, this can make me sound homophobic, but I can't be homophobic because I am a homosexual. So for me, that like love their interior decoration skills because that
mm,
house looks fucking amazing. The Myers house, the way they revamped it, looked so good. I was like,
mm,
sell me this house. I want it right now. Other than that, I wasn't really a big fan of those two. I thought they were kind of dumb. I thought
mm.
they made dumb decisions, to be honest with you,
They
instead
did
of
make
just
dumb decisions.
because they're like, oh, somebody broke into the house.
Mm.
And instead of fucking leaving, they decided to take it upon themselves to go. It's just stupid to
Well,
me.
I guess
And the fact that the
that
one
calls
guy
back
just
to that
stands,
that calls back again to that, like most people not worrying about Michael Myers. He just didn't have an impact on them. Big John is
yeah.
in No Hard Feelings actually, and plays like a dumb character again. But I don't mind that actor. I think
Oh,
he's
well. Yeah, well, and it's just dumb to me how the guy just stands there and looks at
mm,
Michael for like 10 seconds when he could have just jumped out the window and escaped. Like when he's
mm,
like, "Michael, you've returned?" And then
mm.
Michael like slowly walks towards him and he just gets I'm like, "The fuck is this shit?" Anyway.
And then I don't care how much you dislike Cameron in the first film, because Cameron is a bit of a jerk in the first one. Like, I like him up until a certain point, and then it's just like, he's like, I don't know, like he's being a teenage boy, but like at the same time, you had a girlfriend. Don't kiss other girls. Like, don't be a joke there.
Yeah.
But I don't think the punishment fits the crime. Like, he gets brutalized, like in that final act, along with his dad. Like that whole third act of them like getting all butchered,
It's
and
really
then
good.
like Laurie's daughter getting
Ooh,
killed as well. It depends if you watch
yeah.
the extended cut or not, because there's one version where you see her get killed, and there's one you don't. But like seeing, like, I love Judy Greer. Judy Greer to me is one of the unsung heroes of Hollywood. Like everything she's in.
Agreed.
Like the first time I saw her, I think would have been Arrested Development as Kitty. Um, but then straight after that, I saw her as Trixie the hooker in Californication. Two wonderful roles, two very different roles. I was like, this woman's amazing. Like she's so good, like in everything I see her. every time she shows up, like she's so underutilized.
Mhm.
Like in a forgiving world, in an honest world, she would have a bunch of Oscars. She's so wonderful.
Yeah.
And even in these
She's
films, she's underutilized. Like because she's
yeah.
not the main character. Um, but sad to see her killed because I love Judy Greer so much.
I also love her in 13 Going on 30.
Yes, yeah, that's right. I was actually gonna mention before when you said the film, she plays the friend. Like she's in that,
Yeah,
she's in
the
the Ant-Man films, she's in the Carrie remake, like she's just in so many things.
speaking of the Carrie remake, that movie may or may not be on my remakes list, and
That's
I
a,
know
that's a little that's a little
pro
tease for the next episode.
it's probably gonna piss a lot of people off, but
I love that remake. I think that
so do
remake is
I.
so underrated. Um, so underrated. Like I just rewatched it again this year. And I was like, no, I was right. This is great. Like
Yeah.
the weakest part of that movie is that maybe Chloe Grace Moretz is a bit too cute to be playing Carrie. Like that's,
Definitely.
do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's the
I'm
only
like,
thing that
this girl is getting bullied by this girl who looks like a fucking man. I will say the blonde girl is super pretty. The popular girl, I
mm,
forget what her name is, in the Anne or something like that. She's really pretty. The other girl, I'm like,
mm.
you're popular, really? You
That
think
being
you're the
said,
shit?
like I've known pretty girls who've been bullied, so like it's not out of the realm of possibility. But yeah, like that's the only thing the film doesn't have going for it. I remember seeing Carrie in the theaters on my birthday. It came out like the weekend of my birthday in 2013. I said to my wife, "I'm like, we're going. Let's go see Carrie." Um, yeah, Sissy
Yeah,
Spacek is way creepy around. Like Sissy Spacek, I get. Like she's got the look of what Carrie should be. But yeah,
yeah,
that remake is so unappreciated. It's really really
it
good.
really is. Yeah, I'm
Um,
excited to get in my list of uh underrated remakes because I'm gonna piss a lot of people off next time we record.
just
Just a
kidding. We're
heads
doing a
up.
6-hour episode. Let's kick it. No, we're not gonna. Yeah, I've got some stuff on my remake list as well. Oh, you know what? There are probably maybe not. Maybe people will agree with most of them. It's a pretty solid. It's a pretty solid list. Maybe my
Yeah,
number one is one that will annoy people because, yeah, it's a remake of a classic beloved film, and most people did not like it. But we'll see.
I think it's more so my honorable mentions that are probably gonna piss people off more, just because, like, yeah.
Mm.
Oh well, I don't care.
I don't think
Get
there's anything
mad.
else. Yeah, that's okay. It's not for them. It's for us. I never like. Spoiler alert. This is going to annoy people. I don't make this show for the audience. Like I make this show for me, and if the audience likes it, fantastic. If they don't, maybe they'll like the next episode.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
that's also why I don't make any money off this show, but that's fine. That's. I think I'm just trying to think if there's anything about Kills I want to say. I really like it. I love that. It's really cheesy, and I know it rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And like it seems like all the things I love about it, the things you hate about it. But I
Yeah,
love the supernatural element, like the idea, like that suddenly Michael becomes unkillable, and we literally witness that kind of change in dynamic. Like he's being beaten up by everyone, and then like Laurie's narrating and talking about how evil is more than just a physical form, and like um it can't be destroyed. And then he kind of gets his power and just starts killing everyone. Like that to me is such a cool, like it's really
yeah.
shot in an interesting way, in a very dynamic way. That's slow motion and like still frames of the brutal like kills and stuff. I love it. I think it's great.
I will say, like, I do love that whole mob scene where they're all like beating him up.
Yeah.
But my issue, and I have this issue with all three of David Gordon Green's movies, the consistency is not there.
Mm,
One movie he's unkillable. In Halloween Ends, he's fucking like an old man that can barely fucking move around.
mm.
And it's like, so what are we doing here? Is he unkillable? Is he immortal? Or is he a fucking aging old man? Because like I can't tell the difference between what you guys want to do and what you guys don't want to do. It's just
I
like
don't think
so,
he is unkillable. I think yeah, there's definitely a mixed message there. I think like it's a really cool idea for that scene at the end of Kills, but I
yeah.
think like that fight like takes him out, like, and that's why he's living like a homeless person in a shelter, like in like
Yeah.
for half of the
In
film.
the fucking sewers, yeah.
Yeah, Kills is my favorite of the trilogy. I liked the first one, like the 2018 one, but for me, I remember when it came out, everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's so incredible!" And I watched, it, like, it's good. And that like one long tracking shot where Michael breaks into the house and kills people is really cool, but
Yeah.
it doesn't do too much different. Like it is kind of like, oh, it's what I expected from a Halloween film. Whereas Kills and Ends, I think, takes big swings. Doesn't always hit where it's trying to go, but it's trying different things and trying not to be just another Halloween film.
Yeah.
So I like all of them. I think Ends is underrated as well. Corey was the kid's name. I finally remembered.
Yeah.
Uh, so I like all of them, but Kills for me is probably like that was the one I was most surprised by. Like Ends, I get. I saw Ends, I'm like, I see why people don't like this. But Kills, I was like, yeah, there's some inconsistencies, but like this is pretty great. Like there's some really cool stuff in here.
I was
Um,
actually surprised by how much I loved Ends, actually. So
I remember I told you I was messaging you a little bit, like I was sitting here, I'm like, hey, I'm going to see Ends today. Apparently, people hate this one, so I'll let you know. And you're like, I actually really liked it, so like or no, maybe you didn't say I really liked it, but you're like, I liked it more than I thought I would. And I was like, all right, well, I'll let you
yeah.
know. Um, and Ends has, I know we're not talking about Ends, but Ends has maybe one of the most heartbreaking, brutal openings of a horror film ever, where
Oh,
Corey accidentally,
that was insane.
yeah, like I remember seeing that, and I was like, and again, like I've talked about this a lot in the show, like being a parent will change how you perceive films, and like that, I was like, oh my god, like I don't know if I can sit through this entire film. There better not be any more child stuff in this movie, and then there really isn't. So,
Yeah.
um, but
Um,
I liked that Michael had an apprentice. I was like, hey, he's got a friend. Like
yeah, I thought
that,
that was like really cool.
yeah, um, yeah,
Another thing I'll say about Kills is I actually think it has the best score of all three of the films.
score is really good.
I love the score of Halloween Kills. Like I have it on vinyl.
Is that
Like
this it kills is the one that has the choral bit in the opening theme where it's like the ha like that's
I
as
think so.
the pumpkin start because the
Oh
first
no, that's the last one.
oh
That's
is it
Ends. Yeah.
I thought it was kills. um it's been a minute since I've watched them. I did watch them this year, but I am up to movie 310 or 311 now, so I'm
Damn. It's a lot of
yeah.
movies.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of movies. I've watched more movies than there've been days in the year. I've been a busy boy.
Yeah.
um Well, that's going to do it for possibly part one of our Halloween special. Hopefully, we'll get to record part two.
Oh, we will. Yeah.
We, um, I'm so glad. I knew, like, we've had to reschedule a couple of times because we've been sick, and then things have come up, and I'm like, we're going to need time. I was like, we're going to need at
Yeah.
least 3 hours to talk about two lists, and it took us 3 hours to talk about one list.
That's okay. It happens, you know. It's expected at this point. I think your listeners just expect to, you know, be in for a long ride when you and I are together, which is fine. I think it like you said before, I think it's great that, you know, we can chat and we have so much to talk about whenever we do chat. Like I don't think there's ever a dull moment when I talk to you even if we're not recording. We ever just
Mm.
talking about like things in our daily life, like it never gets boring. So,
And it's like we were talking about this before. I was so close to canceling tonight because you were doing some stuff and you were like, oh, I'm gonna be a little late. I'm like, that's cool. I was getting late. I'm like, oh, like tomorrow's Sunday. I'm gonna have to get up early. Like, I don't want to be up too late. I'm so glad I
yeah.
stuck with it. I'm so glad I was like, you know what, I was pushed through because once we started, I
Yeah.
didn't get tired at all. And like, this has been so much fun. It's always a ball when you're on the show. So, um,
Thank you. I
and not just when you're on
appreciate
the show,
that.
just us hanging out and talking. Like, it's always fun.
Yeah.
So,
Can I also say this is like not related, but like there's been times when I've like looked, you know, because sometimes you look at yourself when you're recording. This, I don't know if it's a filter or the way the lighting looks, but my skin looks flawless right now. I just had to say that. I'm sorry.
your
Like I was just
skin
like,
is, it's like Doctor Sleep, your skin, like just side by
yeah,
side.
yeah. I'm Rose the
Perfect,
Hat.
perfect movie, perfect skin. Um,
Yeah.
there we go. Um,
Anyway, sorry that
do
was
you,
random. I just
no,
yeah.
that's not at all. Is there anything you want to add before we wrap this one up today, Michael? I say today. It's like I guess it is day for you. It's 1 in the
Yeah.
morning for me.
Yeah, like the sun is literally up now, so I don't know if I'm even gonna sleep today at this point. I'm kind of like maybe I should just stay awake because I'm already gonna be like, you know, pumped for the movie. So I might not
Mm,
sleep at all today. We'll see. But yeah, no, I mean, I think we said everything we need to say. I thought our lists were very strong.
hmm
Um, I think we had really good choices. Some might be controversial than others, but that's okay because there are lists and there are opinions. So
I don't think there's anything too controversial on there. Like everything on yours that I've seen, I agree with. Um,
yeah,
the only one I hadn't seen was Annabelle. I'd seen the rest of them. I haven't seen Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2, in a long time, but I do remember liking it, and everything else I agree with, and I like everything on my list as well. So
yeah. I'm not
um,
I'm
re-
not mad about it. So
remakes is going to be interesting. Although I like
yeah.
all my remakes on my list as well. I think they're like that's why they're on my list. Um, I think remakes is going to be fun. So this is the end of part one. We're going to get together and do part two probably in a week or so, and I might just drop them back to back, maybe a day apart, so we don't have to make
Yeah,
them wait too long. But
that works.
um, huge thank you to Michael as always. I love having you on the show. Like, it's so much fun. Like, we just talk about so much stuff, and it's good to have someone who I
Yeah.
can have really in-depth conversations about horror with. And honestly, like, you put me to shame. So I'm like, ah, man, like, I need to go back and watch more of these movies.
No, I think you're amazing, James. I think your talent and the way that you're so I just love how passionate you are about movies, like similar to me, because like sometimes I get around people that aren't as passionate about movies and I like go on my little tangents and they're like, that was cool. Yeah,
mm.
cool. Great to you can shut up about it now. But like with you, like I never feel like I'm too much or like when I go on tangents or if I talk about a movie for too long, like I never feel like you're like, okay, let's move on. Like let's talk about like I feel like you're equally as passionate as I am and it's nice to be able to like sit around and just talk about movies because I've always loved them. So
No, for sure, and the same goes to you. Like, it's so much fun, and it's funny. Like at the start of the podcast, you mentioned you were taking a break from your show to look after your mental health. This
yeah,
show exists for my mental health. Like, that's like,
yeah,
this is how, like, this is my hobby. Like, this is the thing I do for me, and like I get to talk about things that don't matter to most people, but they matter so much to me. And it's okay that if movies don't matter to you, that's fine, but they do matter to me, and they've got their place just as
yeah,
much as sports do, or music does, or anything else does. Like, just it all. So yeah, so no, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. Like, we always talk about, like, we'll do our own spin-off show. I'm like, I mean, we really could. Like, it would be the most fun
yeah.
thing in the world.
It
Uh,
would be really fun.
the longest running podcast of all time, because every episode is like 4 hours minimum. My wife may kill me if that happened. But
I have a proposition for you, actually,
yeah, you're gonna
and I
get it
don't
on. You're
think you.
gonna get it on wax, so that way, like, you can lock my answer in.
Well, I don't think you've ever seen this show, but I've been dying to do a podcast with somebody about this show because there's so many episodes and it's one of my favorite. It's like literally my favorite show of all time. It's One Tree Hill.
I've never watched One Tree Hill. What's your proposition? Is that
If you would want to,
I watch
if you
all of
would
One Tree
want
Hill?
to, if you would want to do it with me, because the way I'm thinking of doing it is like we just watch the episode together or by ourselves every week. Like we could do like weekly or bi-weekly depending on like what our schedules are like. But I just haven't gotten the chance to talk about like the show like in detail from beginning to end.
Let me
So,
see where it's available. Because the
and I feel like
answer,
it's a show that you might like actually.
I
Like,
mean, I like, just so you know, when I was like 15, like, I loved the OC. Like, the OC was my favorite show. And
yeah.
I'm not comparing them, but like, I think most people listening to this podcast will be like, well, that's not his jam at all. But I've also like,
Yeah.
but like, I did love the OC. Like, you saw their shirts everywhere. I loved the OC as well.
Yeah.
One Tree Hill, is it available on anything in Australia? If it
It's
is,
on Hulu. Do you have Hulu?
no, we don't have Hulu in Australia. All the Hulu stuff just comes under Disney Plus, so it's all on our Disney Plus
Oh,
stuff.
well, maybe it's on Disney Plus
It's
then.
not, but it's on one of our free-to-air channels. Has it on their digital platform, so they do have it. What I will do is I will watch a couple of episodes just to make sure it's the right fit. Because the last thing I want to do is promise you, and then I watch one episode, I'm like, sorry, this sucks. I can't do a whole
Yeah.
9 seasons a week. But I'll try and make some time to watch a couple of episodes. How
Okay.
shattered are you going to be if I watch One Tree Hill before I watch Haunting of Hill House?
You know what? I'll forgive you for it because One Tree Hill is my favorite show. So you know what? As long as you're watching one of the other, it's fine. I will say a word of advice. This show is like 20 years old. Like it literally had its 20th anniversary on the 23rd of September of this year. So it's 20
Mm.
year. It came out in 2003. So like the first, I do like the first few episodes, but like I can understand why some people like that don't like older stuff, which you might. I don't know. It can be a little bit hard to get through, but I promise you, once you get like through like the first three episodes, it gets like it's real to me. It's a masterpiece, but to other
Well, I'll
people,
check out a couple episodes when I get a moment, and
okay,
if I dig it, then I'm all in. We'll do it, for
okay,
sure. Heard it here
cool,
first. And I won't cut that from the episode, so people have
okay.
it on wax.
It's
Uh,
in paper. It's in writing. It's on voice. It's on voice. We have him agreeing to possibly doing it. So,
we'll just have to like come up with a name for the show. Surely you've got an idea
oh,
for
I
that.
have one already.
Yeah, no worries at all. Good, good,
um,
good, good.
there's only one tree hill. That's what I want to call it because that's a line in the show. Somebody says it. I don't remember who says it, but they're like, "There's only one tree hill." So that's my idea.
That's great. All right, I'll watch some episodes when I get a chance, and if I like the show, if I can like see myself committing to 9 seasons worth of the show, then yeah, we'll do a One Tree Hill show. It'd be interesting because you'll be the dynamic will be interesting because you'll be coming as an
Yeah, because
expert,
you've
someone
never
who,
seen it.
and it'll be
Yeah,
my first time through. Yeah.
and I've
All
seen the
right.
show like 14 times. So also
I have to.
Sophia Bush is in it. Do you know who that? You know who that is,
Is she in
right?
one of the? I know the name. Is she in one of the Hill House shows or?
She's actually in the remake of The Hitcher that came out in 2007. She's the
Oh, I
main
remember
girl in
that
that.
one. I haven't seen that in a
She's
long time, but
also in John Tucker Must Die. She's like in a lot of like those
okay,
movies.
no worries at all.
She's stunning and perfect and gorgeous, and yeah, I think
I
you'll.
remember
I
you
think
bring up. I think you brought her name up when we were talking about who would cast in our version of slasher film.
yep,
When yeah, I remember you
100.
bringing her up. All right,
I will say, spoiler alert, she's the best character in the entire show, hands down. So, and if
all
you don't
right.
agree with me, then we're gonna have a problem.
The
But it's fine.
podcast isn't going to happen, or like every episode will just be the most tense thing ever where we're at odds.
Well, I've
Uh,
been watching the show. I've been watching it with Eric, and I every time like once we get through the show, so I'm like, "Who's your favorite character?" And he's like, he'll just mess with me. He's like, he'll pick one of the worst characters of the show, and I'm like, "Haha, very funny. Who is it?" And most of the time, he says it's Brooke. So, but that's Sophia Bush's character. But anyway, I'm sorry. We get on these tangents, guys.
that's yeah. Michael was like, "Let's get as close to 1 a.m. as possible for you."
I think it's
Um,
my ADHD as well. I just like go. That's why I'm taking medication for my ADHD. I don't know if it's helping. Probably not. But I just go on like these like random tangents and I can't stop. So
Look, I
sorry.
don't want to assume anything, but my understanding is you wouldn't be taking that medication between the hours of, I don't know, midnight and 6 a.m. So I can't really hold, we can't hold you accountable for that because that's when you're supposed to be sleeping.
I
Instead, you
actually
stayed
have
up
to
all night.
take. I actually have to take them before I go to bed. So
Oh, there you go. And you haven't been to bed yet, so
yeah, I
you
haven't
stayed
taken
up all
them
night to
yet.
podcast instead.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a real laugh. That's
Yeah.
perfect. That was a legitimately real laugh. Uh, well,
Oh,
guys,
man.
go follow Michael on Instagram. We love horror. And even though he's not recording at the moment, go listen to the back catalog of his show. It's fantastic. It's so good. I've been on an episode. We talked about the worst films of the year, the worst horror films of the year, and I blamed myself more than the movies, but it's a really fun episode. If you like what this is, then it's just the same thing. Like this is all we do. Michael has been on the show before as well. He talked about his top 5 favorite films back in episode 49, I think it was the last one before episode 50. So go listen to that. But go support him. Go like his stuff. There's some really great content out there. Do you have anything else to plug? You can buy a T-shirt. Michael sells T-shirts as well for his
Oh yeah, I
podcast.
have merch. You can just go onto my link on Instagram and it should be in the description. So I go to like the web. I think it's what is it? T Master? Is that what it's called? T
T
Public.
Public,
That's the
yeah.
word.
I sell my
Yeah.
T-shirts on T Public because of you.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Okay.
I was trying out a few places and I saw that you sold them. There, I was like, oh, this seems to work pretty well.
Yeah.
And go and talk to Michael online. He's so friendly. Like if you message him, I don't want to I don't want to throw you into a corner there, Michael. But chances are they message you, you will message back and say hello. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Michael's like,
definitely.
thanks for that. I want more people bugging me.
No, I do. I love meeting new people. I'm a people person, so
100%
I
you
love
are for
it.
sure. Um, Excellent. If you
But
want to support this show, jump onto Instagram. Follow me at I was a teenage film snob underscores between every single word. I post on it pretty regularly. I've been sick this week, or at least at the time of this recording, so I've been posting less. But I'm always putting up pictures of Blu-rays and sharing what I'm watching, and I'll respond to everything. So if you send me a message or comment, I will respond or like it and get involved. I put up videos and talk about the show pretty regularly as well. If you want to support the show financially, you can head to tpublic.com. After you've bought one of Michael's t-shirts, buy one of mine. You can search for I Was a Teenage Film Snob or just go into my links on Instagram as well. I make no money on them, so it's really just about spreading the word of the show. And they're really comfy. I bought one myself and they're really nice t-shirts. So go get one of those. And that is about it. If all goes according to plan, then there'll be a part 2 to this very soon. We're going to talk about our horror remake, so look out for that one. Um, and then we've got a new topic coming up soon as well. But there's a few things in the works. So once I know more, I'll let you all know. But until then, thank you again to Michael for coming on. He is one of my favorite people in the world. And not just to talk about movies, but to talk to in general. He's such a lovely guy. So glad to have him back. And he's going to be on a
thank
lot
you,
more. I
buddy.
get the feeling for sure. And as
Yeah.
I say on this podcast every single week, guys, I was a teenage film snob, but I promise you I'm trying to be better. We'll see you next week.
Bye guys.